Welcome back, Sketchbook Heroes and Sketchbook Warriors. Here we are, many battles and challenges and stepping outside of our comfort zone. That's what it takes. It takes stepping out of your comfort zone. That's what makes you a warrior, makes you a hero. So here we go. We've got our drawings for tonight. We're ready to go. We're back after a 2-month break, 2 months of a little vacation here. So let's go over some basic stuff. Let's go over some basic things. So you can use anything to draw, anything. Okay, so I suggest actually even using a ballpoint pen or something where you can't erase. You really shouldn't you be practicing your erasing. You got to practice your drawing. But you can use anything. You really can use anything. I've got colored pencils and actual pencil here too. But we'll be using, I'll start off with a pen. I haven't used a pen for a while, but we'll be using a ballpoint pen. This is just a regular ballpoint pen. There we go. And we do sketch. Some people have been wanting to do the, drawing. We have all these notes, the shading and doing all that stuff. That comes later. All this stuff is more advanced. So we will be waiting on shading and figure drawing and portraits. All that stuff is more advanced. So we're for the first half hour or so, we're going to just be really basic drawing things. And we do start off with shapes. We start off with shapes because everything you see around you is made up of shapes. So we start
Claudio?
off, yes.
I can't see the part of you that's drawing.
Oh,
is that
yes,
just me?
It's upside down.
I'm upside down. Yes, there we go. There we go. That's it. All right, thank you. So we draw, everything you see is made up of shapes, and learning to see the shapes and learning to see simple shapes to more complex, because shapes get more complex. As I was drawing actually a flower today, I showed a person how to draw a flower, and the flower was pretty complex. As we broke it down into shapes, and then the shapes broke down into other shapes within those shapes, right? So that's where we go to. So everything's made up of shapes, and that's what we do today. We just practice. Lessons will be coming soon. Lessons will be coming too soon. If you go to sketchbookhero.com, sketchbookhero.com, our lessons will be there eventually. Eventually. So just keep being patient and just keep practicing. That's what's more important, really. More important. We do go over some of the lessons, but they're not like in any particular order. We just draw. So what else? Let's see. Drawing freely, clean, sharp lines. You know what to focus on. A lot of you know what to focus on. These are the questions that have been added to today's class. Motivation, regarding motivation, start a routine, get a routine going. Sometimes you don't feel like drawing, and it's the same thing as exercise. Drawing can be very similar to exercise and give you, once you're running, get those endorphins, you get, but there's days that you might not feel like drawing. And that's where you really want to start a routine, even just 3 times a week, 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, whatever your routine is, get a routine going. That really helps. And then figure drawing, again, you want to run before you can walk. Figure drawing, portraits, all that stuff yeah, need to get the basics down first. Nature journaling, again, yes, we're going to be doing some of that tonight, some nature journaling. And don't worry about perfection. It's really sketching. It's really, the more you practice, the more you'll progress. And then drawing from memory, we really do more observational drawing. But drawing from memory, you does take a bit of practice. But you can draw some of the shapes and draw things from memory. That does take practice, drawing from memory. You're building your reservoir of things by seeing how they're constructed. So first comes observational drawing, and then memory drawing, and then you do a little bit of both and go back and forth. All right, so let's get started. Let's get started. Here we go. Woo. All right, welcome back. I'm going to share my screen. And here we go, our drawings for tonight. There we go. We got our arrow. I just went through them, but we didn't go through them recordedly. We're gonna go do all these drawings. I'm just gonna go through them really quickly. So you can pause if you're watching this recorded live. If you're live, you'll just we'll go through these. This is what we're gonna be doing tonight. We're not going to do all of them. We'll address most of them, and as well as our little Eeyore and Winnie the Pooh drawings. There we go. All right, starting to warm up. All right, here we go. So we break these down. We break this down. So let's break this down. Everything's made up of shapes. I'm going to annotate. We're going to start off here. The most basic shape is that circle, the head. I like seeing the biggest shapes, these big shapes. You can see this shape, but a circle is definitely a good point of reference because it's pretty, it's not a perfect circle, but it's really close to it. There's a little bit of a bump there, a little bit of a bump up here, but it's really close to being a perfect circle. So you can see it there. There's our one. We can use this as a unit to get proportions. Somebody was having trouble with the proportions. It really takes practicing proportions. You take one unit that you know, and then everybody knows a circle has the same height, same width. And we use wrap to draw to do that. But you can see here, there's a one head space right in here. Even though it's a stick figure, you can still do proportions. Here's 1 and 2 head spaces there. Actually, why don't we, I wish I could copy paste these. It doesn't let me copy paste. I'll make some more circles. Let's see, I'll use that one there. I think I can, no, let's go back over. Grab the tool again. There's another circle and hold down shift to make a perfect circle. There we go. That's another circle. Let's see if I can move them. There we go. There we go. You can see that there. I can move this one. It depends on where we put it, right? Right there. One more circle. So we're breaking this down. If you're brand new tonight, welcome and thank you for joining us. Everything's shapes. We're seeing how all these shapes relate to each other. We've got that circle there. And we got 2 circles here. Don't get discouraged. This is a very simple drawing. It's okay. You know, it doesn't matter where you're at. I heard the quote again today. Doesn't matter where you're at. It's about where you're going. It's about where you're going. And it's not about where you've been. It's not about where you're at. Because you can, you know, some people get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. Be that warrior. Be that hero. Mostly the warrior. Heroes, you can help each other out. There you go. You can see 4 circles right in there. That's about it. That really helps with proportions. And I'm going to do one more circle. Feel free to throw stuff in the chat. Welcome. I see something in the chat. If I get a vote, I like the old truck and the lighthouse. Yes. Yes, the old truck and the lighthouse, definitely. Thank you for your votes, and thank you. You are a long time. Yes.
But I put in 2 lighthouses. Which one?
I know. We're gonna make a combination. We'll make a combination of the lighthouses and also that we have 2 ocean scenes too. We're gonna kind of combine them and create something put together. And Francois, welcome back. I see people that were all right. Cool. Let me just draw one more here. This is for beginners. So you got to know where you're at. And again, it doesn't matter where you're at. It's about where you're going and just giving it your all. So here we go. There's our, I'm going to just use this last circle. You can see how much up here. We still kind of like have a half circle up here. And if we bring it down here, there's still a little bit even more of a circle there. And here, the spacing down here, there's another, you can see a circle right in there. That's interesting. All right, I'm going to go ahead and screenshot that. We'll put that in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and start drawing this one, right, with circles. Another thing to make note of is the angle of these circles, the angles of these circles. So I'm going to go ahead and put the angles. I'll show you the angles right here, right now. You can see the center from these circles and this how they relate to each other. Here, they kind of like going down at this angle, and then here this angle, and that angle from the center, right? That kind of helps as well. This is symmetrical. All right, howdy, goody to see y'all again. It's something in the chat. All right, let's get going. Let's jump on this. Here we go. Let's stop sharing. Let's jump on this. This is our first one. Again, this is just really basic beginner. Again, we're sketching. This is a sketch. Everybody wants to do, you know, you do the drawing on top. You want to start off sketching, and it is kind of like scribbling, and not really worrying about what things look like. So we do need the space. The space we do need is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 circles. 5 circles. We're going to start off with that one circle right here, the head. the head. So I'm just going to sketch it in. Notice how I'm just scribbling it in head. So I know I have that circle there. And you do want to practice drawing circles. So when I'm getting talking, or like in our warm-ups, or when I'm doing our when we first start, you can practice just drawing circles. This is a good thing to do just on your own. Just practice drawing circles, practice drawing other shapes, even ovals, and then even doing lines, and even experimenting, and even just 5-10 minutes, even it's a good warm-up. All right, so now we got the next circle that's right above it, a little bit to the right. You can see it's not quite cut in half, but it's a little bit yeah, to the right. I'm trying. What I'm seeing is I'm seeing two different lines. I'm seeing the line that from the center to the center, and then I'm also seeing the line of the bow and arrow. So that's I'm trying to differentiate. I don't want to confuse you. So that was why I was kind of pausing a little bit. All right, so we have there's my two circles. All right, there's my two circles. Here's my and this probably be a little bigger, and I can add to it. See, as I sketch. This is all under drawing. This is just sketching just to get the drawings in there. And then the more you practice, the less you need these guides. This is kind of like we were talking about somebody riding their bike and needing training wheels. These are kind of like the training wheels when you're first starting. You want to see the shapes and want to see the proportions and see how everything fits, right? So here we have this one that's almost below, probably a little bit bigger. So I can still keep adding to it. And this is a 3H pencil, so it's pretty light. There's my 3H pencil. This is it's a regular, just black. This is a 2HB pencil, so it should be a little bit darker. Yeah, it's a little bit darker. So it's good to actually start a little light. Draw light until you get it right, and then go dark. All right, I got my 3 circles there, and then this other one that's like way over here at this other angle, almost 45-degree. Sketching it in right there. I am going slow. I will speed up. I do speed up later in the evening. We do start off slow and then speed up from there. All right, so there's our more or less, I can maybe bring it down a little more, our 4 main circles, and then we have a little bit of a space, that placement, that space, and then we've got that other circle that's like right a little bit to the left of this one. See this third circle, it should probably be a little bit more over. See, I'm looking at the placement and looking at the how everything relates to each other. There we go. There we go. There's our 5 circles. All right, I'm drawing pretty big, and we're also using our Warner Brothers programming paper. This is a paper we got from Warner Brothers as we visited one day. All right, here we go. Let's get this going. All right, we'll start with the head. Let's zoom in. Now, I want to start off with the head just because I am, but I actually should be doing the bow and arrow. So let's get that line in there first, that one line, because that one line that cuts through the face is kind of important. So we're gonna go see if every time I see a circle, I think of it as a clock. We're looking at 6 o'clock here. This is at the bottom. A little bit to the left of that is the hand. That hand is right in there. There's a small hand in there. I'm gonna draw it as a circle there first. There we go, there's that circle. And that from here to this part of that circle. So that would probably be, let's see, this is 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that's 3 o'clock over here. Yeah, it's around 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, and that's 2 o'clock. Here's 3 o'clock. So around 1 o'clock. Yeah, 1 o'clock. So from past 6:30, between 6:30 and 7, right in here, that part of the circle, that's the line we need to divide that circle up to that 2 o'clock. That line right there. That's that kind of that angle. The face all fits in here in the circle. See, that face fits in this part of the circle. You got to learn how to break things down into parts, into fractions. This one's a tough one. So let's try it again. This is 12 o'clock up here, 6 o'clock below. Let's go over here, 9 o'clock. We have 6, 6, 7, and 8. So yeah, it's between, it's like 6:30, 6:30, 6:30 to 1 on that clock. That's the line that we need from 6. All you need is 2 points to make a line. There it is, our 2 points. All right, let's see, anything in the chat? No, we got 23 people. All right, here we go. Which lighthouse did I like? I don't know. Let's see which one when we get there. When we get there, we'll cross that bridge. All right, now the most complex part of the face is this, is the face. Actually, the most the simple drawing is the face. All right, there's a slight angle to the mouth. And notice where it's at. Again, breaking this into parts. This is halfway, right? Halfway below that half is that mouth, a little bit below. And it's a line like this. Let's get my darker pencil. There we go, that darker pencil right in there. I'll just draw the face first. It's a serious face. That mouth is straight and at an angle. Now these eyes are also at an angle. And this is what the most complex part of this face. We have 2 eyes. They're kind of like coming at that angle, right? One's up a little higher. And then one is a little bit lower in that space. Notice how big they are. Notice how they fit in that space. Even though it's a simple drawing, it's kind of complex, especially this part. The artist kind of knows about space and creating that space as it goes back. And they're using angles. And they're using thickness of line too. We'll get into that in a bit. But that's kind of more or less the face. All right, let's get back and let's get everything else. And that face looks pretty good. We got some eyebrows. Give it more character. And he's kind of looking really serious and kind of getting ready to aim. So we've got that one eyebrow there and a little bit of a dot of an eyebrow on this side. All right, let's zoom out. Let's do this. Let's sketch in the bow and arrow. So we're going to bring the bow and arrow up. These circles were just to help us with the spacing. You can see that it's just a little bit more than that. And then straight ahead from here is that arrow. There's the arrow straight across. Watch the angle. That's horizontal, straight across. Watch the spacing, like in here, how far out it goes. You can see that right there. All I did was extend this line here to get that angle. You can see how it was extended. And it is a simple drawing. I'm making it more complex and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, but I'm just showing you with the thinking, even on the simple drawing, how I would do it to get it more accurate, to get this accurate. Right, you see the angle of this arm coming down, this angle, notice how it comes down, then it comes up. And how far it comes out, probably comes out a little bit less than the head space, or it's about a head space as it comes out. We didn't measure that. I'm assuming that's about it there. And then the arm is underneath. And then there's the hand, the other hand right there, holding on to this bow and arrow as it curves up. There we go. Get this other angle. There's a lot of little lines. That other angle should come out. Okay, so I'm seeing the top of this. I'm going to triangulate. So I'm seeing the top of my bow, bringing that down, and it should kind of come down to here, more or less. That's probably off. It's okay. Right there, and then get that angle. Oh. We did have some jokes for tonight. There were some jokes that were posted. That's great. I don't remember them offhand, but we can take a look at them. If you want to copy and paste them, or if you know any jokes, I like joking around, keeping it lighthearted. All right. Now, one thing we can do with this bow and arrow, we can actually turn your paper sideways and kind of making sure that it's kind of symmetrical. It's kind of symmetrical, right? You want to almost not see everything else and kind of just see this line as being symmetrical. They kind of should be the same angle on both sides. And you can do that. And then we've got the bow kind of bowing a little bit. It might come out a little bit more. Huh? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not pulling it enough. All right, sketching it in. And then it does curve out the bow, this curve a little bit. Our school used to have archery. And somebody I was talking to, was online, mentioned that they're thinking about getting rid of archery because it's dangerous, or I don't know, it's politics. All right. Here we go. It's warming up. It's been warm. Record-breaking heat again. I'm just straightening it up, straightening it out. That's my bow. The hand is just a simple circle. And there's the arrow. This is the arrow. The thickness of line is really interesting. Watching the thickness of the line. There's some lines that are thicker and some that are thinner. If you can really observe and see that, that'd be great. We have the arrowhead. There's our arrowhead right in there, and part of the line goes through that. I'm trying to fix the bow. It's a little bit thicker on one side than the other. There we go. Let's get this the top side, the thickness. What is Robin Hood's favorite variety of fonts? Sans serif. Ah, that's very funny. As if you were, yeah, because sans serif. Oh, and actually, we're gonna do something with sans serif. That goes with this drawing and our the letter E. So sans serif, very funny. There was a florist. You can buy flowers, a florist, and they were called Sherwood Florist. Sherwood Florist. That was creative. Of course, again with Robin Hood, Sherwood Florist instead of forest, right? If I have to describe the joke, then it's not funny. All right, there's my bow, and there's a little twining, which is actually pretty cool. It's just like some lines up here. It's kind of showing that the string on the bow is tied up at the top. It's kind of like scribbles. And then they got little action lines as well up here, and little action lines below as well, and also some more of that tying. So there's some, if you look closely, you can see some tying. And my lines aren't that straight. I can probably after I do my sketch, those of you wanting to do sharper lines, get a marker. Where's my marker? Get another marker. I had this metallic marker I was using. Where did it go? To get sharper lines. Oh, it'll show up. All right. Well, let's just keep it going. All right, so the top part's kind of done. Well, this front part, and it's talking about sharp lines. All right. Let's get the body. Now the body's behind here, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing with all these lines, because there's no real thickness, there's no real shapes. This is a stick figure. This is a stick figure. So the body line kind of goes through here and down. This is the body. That's the body. And then it just comes out as legs on both sides. There's a little bit of a knee band right in there. There is a little bit of a knee band there. And then we have an oval for the foot. Foot there. Bring it over that angle. And then a little bit of a knee band. Slight angle change. Oh, this one probably doesn't have one as much. And then we have that foot, that oval. All right, there's our first drawing. No, we still have to do some more detail. some more detail in the face. Let's get that detail in the head and the face. You can, if you see, I did these lines darker. I'm getting a little nervous. There we go. The face. Let's do the face. These circle shapes, our guides, were done a little bit lighter, and usually they don't show up. But let's zoom in on the face. There's a thickness of the line, so let's do that. As it comes around this way, this line, part of the line gets thicker. One of the questions on, can anybody learn to draw? Yes, I really believe anybody can learn to draw. You know, you're going to have little hiccups. You're going to have troubles. And that's okay. That's where you need to bring out the warrior in yourself and really take on that challenge. Step outside your comfort zone and say, oh, because it does get uncomfortable. It's like, oh man, it didn't come out. So like, you got to have to like take that step and say, let's take that step back and say, okay, this is the uncomfort, right? Or if you're just showing your work, wherever you feel uncomfortable. Some people, it doesn't matter. Some people like they you know, they have a little stronger I don't know, stomach, or I don't know how to put it. But you got to know where you're testing your comfort zone. Say, okay, I feel uncomfortable, and doing it anyways, bringing that courage, because you can't have courage without fear. You can't have courage without feeling that little bit of anxiety. But it's really going back to exercises. I'm gonna add a little bit of shade just to make it different. But going back to exercises, you can handle stress by saying, hey, it's just excitement, it's a challenge that you're taking on, and just look at it differently. But if you get stressed and you get fear, and that really messes with your system, because it's fear. You know, it's the whole freeze, run, adrenaline running through your body a little bit. There we go. There's our first drawing of the night. I think is done. Sans serif. All right, here we go. All right, let's go to our next one. Oh, it took a while. All right, we're gonna speed it up a little bit. We're gonna go to our monsters, and I will speed it up a little bit. We'll speed it up. Okay, so those of you hanging in there, here we got something in the chat. When I started with these sketching classes, it was pretty not pretty. Looking back through my sketchbook, I can see that my control and flow is much better these days. So the practice pays off, and Eladio's approach is quite terrific. Thank you so much for your compliment. Yes, it is an approach. It is a process. That's what it is. It's process. So here's our drawing for tonight. I think, yeah, I'm sharing my screen already. Let's break this down and speed it up. So we're going to break it down, speed it up. Yes, it's all about process. We look at the big shapes first. So let's look at our big shapes here. Welcome those of you who are here. We got 24 people now. I think we just lost one person as I was looking at the numbers. All right, so the big shape we see is that circle here. We can actually see it. You got to think about where you see it. If I see that there, and I bring this over here, I can see that kind of like a circle shape here. That circle, there it is, see? And this part is just pulled out a little bit. And then you can see that oval in there. Notice that almost that beak. But now you can really see how solid that is against a perfect circle. You can see these circles of the eyes. These circle eyes in here. And thank you. You know what? That really, oh man, I want to, there we go. Oh, look at that eye. There's two parts to that eye. There's that part right there, and then there's this part. Oh yeah, that part right there. And then this part right there. And kind of a little bit, probably a little bit bigger. But there's, what's that word called when you're having when somebody recommends, there's a word, I'm blanking out. I think they say it in church a lot too, when you have it'll come to me. So we need people to do that. Say, hey,
Revelation.
No, yeah, revelation, that'd be great. You're having revelations while you're drawing. No, when you're kind of like you do a review. It's more than just a review, really. It's really you're saying, hey, this really worked for me. It'll work for you. Um,
Testimonial.
that's it. That's it. Testimonial. Gosh, sometimes words, English is my third language. First was, I think, art, then Spanish, and then English. So yeah, testimonials. That's what we need, testimonials. So yeah, that's great. So yeah, have your sketchbook. That's really important. Have your sketchbook and you can see the progress. See the progress. Don't get discouraged. Somebody just put a testimonial in the chat. That's what it's about. Seeing the shapes and seeing all these shapes. You can see this as one shape here. See that the eyeball, that shape. But to match it better, it's really like two. You can see that part of the circle here and bringing that big circle over too. And you can see that's part of that circle there too. Yes, testimonials. That's what we need. So get your sketchbook and don't get discouraged. Say, look at, even if your drawings are not great, you can see, have a sketchbook and you'll see progress. Everybody wants to run, but you got to, that's the thing, everybody wants to be Michael Jordan, but you got to put in the exercise, you got to put in the work. All right, so this is it. All right, here we got some angles. Let's put some angles and get some triangles. Let's look at these big shapes. Don't worry about the details. See, look at this angle. See this angle here, slight angle there on that wing. Look at this angle here. Don't worry about that curve. See, there's a curve to it. What's more important is this shape right here, this line right here, this point to that point, and then you can slightly pull that up, right? And here's that angle right there. Look at that triangle right in there. This big triangle is more important than all the little detail. Do the same thing up here, right there, and then bring that down. And then this could be actually a shape as well. I mean, it's easier to think of this as a almost like a rectangle right there, that rectangle. That kind of helps. And then we got the feet. Those could be like ovals, but I can't turn those ovals. Let me see, like an oval in here. Where's my oval? There it is. Bigger. There we go. Move it over. All right, I'll screen that, shot that, and then I'll post it in the chat. And then we'll go ahead and just draw it. This one we're going to draw a little faster. And I know the other one we went a little slower. There it is. You can see that one. And let's put the other one as well. We'll speed this up. Notice the height compared to the width. Ooh. Let's erase that one. All right. So yeah, it depends on where you're at. If we're going too slow, sorry. If we're going too fast, sorry. The thing is to go at your own pace. If you see the recording, you can pause and speed up or slow down. We'll just go with this. Let's just go with this. Let me actually break this one down one more time. Try to see the middle. There is kind of like an axis line here. See, I'm breaking that circle in half right in there. See, that's about half right there. Notice that angle. All right, so that's actually pretty good. A breakdown right there. All right, let's screenshot that, throw it in the chat. Where's my screenshot? Where's my chat? Oh, there it is. All right, let's do this. The beauty is you don't have to show your sketchbook to anybody. Yes, it can be dreadful and nobody knows. Yay, it's your own private little, and that's the other thing too I want to get into. It's called the artist's way. Here, well, I'll show it right now. Let me do the screenshot first. Yeah, it's your own personal little place. It's your own personal private little, because you know what, people judge, and that's the thing. You got to find your and that's what she talks about here in Julia Cameron. And I did have the link to it. I did have a link to the actual book. Our PDF webpage that we used to get our PDF, free PDFs from, is not working. But the Artist's Way is really good. She has morning pages, and she has Who Do You Trust, right? To show your work, and it's really good stuff. This one's the morning pages. It's journaling. You got to look her up. She's got a lot of good stuff. We'll probably be following some of her books and some of her things. All right, here we go. Let's jump in with, let's do this with colored pencil. I'm going to go with blue. Start off with our circle. Let's start off with our circle. There's my circle, right? Boom. Here's my circle. This one's going to be quicker. This one's actually easier, believe it or not. There's more detail and stuff, but that stick figure I feel was kind of a challenge. This was funner. And we used to have IPC. IPC was with us. Shout out to IPC who helped us out for a while when he was here. The IPC stood for I Paint Creatures, and creatures is a good way to learn how to draw because they don't have to be. Nobody knows what they look like. All right, so here we have that angle. Probably from 7 to almost like, was it 1 o'clock? 7 to 1. I don't know. Right there, there's that angle. And you want to draw light. I'm going kind of dark so you can see. The hardest part, my students always struggle with sketching light and then going dark. I'm going with this blue, and then I'll probably go with a different color on top. I'm just sketching everything out. Let's get that wing in here. That wing is probably right about there. You got to see where it starts, right about here, and you have that angle coming up. I'm just putting that triangle that is right in there. Seeing these big shapes kind of helps with proportions. You can get lost in the details. If you're just looking at the detail, you'll get lost and your proportions will be off. So you want to see these big shapes. Don't worry about the little shapes yet. Don't worry about them yet. You want to see these kind of shapes, say like these shapes right in here first, right? And let's get this other triangle with this wing that's up this way. Right about there, that angle. And then this down this angle. And I'm actually like looking at my paper at an angle. If I'm looking at it straight, I would probably get a little more accurate. I need to
Eladio, you're on mute.
there we go. How long have I been muted? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was wondering, is it my computer or?
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. I couldn't hear anything.
I
Yeah,
thought it was unusually quiet.
Me too.
I don't know how much you missed, but
Like a minute.
who, me, quiet? No, I tried to explain. I was very quiet. I'm still very quiet. I'm very introverted. But yeah, I don't know if you caught what I was talking about as far as like my iPad. And I don't know if you heard that.
No, we didn't hear about the iPad. Well, I didn't hear about the iPad.
Ah,
Me
okay.
neither.
Yeah. Well, I finally got my iPad. I got my iPad. So and it's the top of the line iPad. But I had trouble getting my it says it's going to take a few days because my other iPad was stolen, unfortunately. Like many of you know who've been with me since January. January was finally got a replacement. But yes, this iPad is very similar to my other iPad, which was like $300. This one is more than that. But it just has more memory and more to it. All right, let's get these feet on here. I kind of got the tail where it's at. I kind of got the triangle, and then you can just attach it to the body. We'll do that and get the feet kind of more or less where they go and how big they go. There's 1 foot there, then another one over here. See, I'm just getting the general position of where things are at. And then the legs have 2 angles to it. Yeah, so there's 2 angles to that leg right in there. That's one side. And then this one just is attached to the back side. And there's overlapping. So this leg is overlapping that part. All right, let's get this mouth. It's kind of sticking out here. Now I can really even pull this I want to say beak. It's not real. It's kind of like a beak. The mouth kind of pulling out. And then it goes in here. Then it comes back down there. There we go. There. And this mouth. All those teeth, all that detail. The tongue that's going to be right in here. Yeah, see, this drawing has a lot of detail. But it breaks down really nicely because it's just really based on a circle, on some circles. We got the circle eye that's going to be right about in here, and then another circle eye that's going to be behind the mouth that sticks out. So it's going to be back here somewhere, right in there. And that's pretty much it. That's the base that we're going to use. And let's go ahead and let's start drawing on top of that. All right, let's start drawing. Here we go. So I don't know, maybe I should pause if you need to catch up. We do have an arm in there. Let's get that arm in there. And I can actually even see it as a triangle shape. I mean, this whole arm can be like a triangle shape. And there's a little bit of a hand in there with a bunch of triangles. But you want to see this as a triangle shape. See that triangle shape. The hand is there, but try to see this triangle shape and how it fits in there. And then the details kind of just, they kind of go in afterwards. All right, we do have a testimonial. That's it. I got to say the word over and over. So it becomes part of my vocabulary. Same thing with anything. You got to practice, practice, practice. You do forget. I mean, testimonials. We need those testimonials. So save your sketchbooks. You don't have to share now, but you see, get your practice, and then you'll see over time. And then you'll feel more comfortable. Then you'll maybe even share your work. This is before and an after. And date your work, a little bit of wine, a little bit of candlelight. No, I'm just kidding. Put today's date. 8/3.
That was funny. It took me half a second to get that, but that was funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
At least it won't be a blind date.
Yeah, I know. Eyes wide open, no blind dates here. All right. Yes. All right. So now here's the detail that there's 3 parts that are sticking out right here. All right. So we see the 3, and we need to divide this into 3. Of course, the center one, and then the 2 on the sides. And I'm just kind of sketching that in, kind of putting that the lines where they're going to go, and then lightly that kind of lets me kind of figure out where they're going to go. And these shapes, because they're shapes and not lines, I can just fit them in, and they as shapes. See how they're little triangle shapes. I'm starting with that middle one and then coming out this way, and I can already all I'm doing is almost tracing what I have here for that one, and then bringing that down here. And notice how it gets wider, and there's probably a little bit of curves. Not getting my lines straight tonight, but that's okay. I'm really sketchy tonight. That's all right. Yeah, there's a slight curve to these. There's slight curves. There's a slight curve. Yeah, there we go. There's a slight curve. And then up here too, there's a slight curve. I made it straight. Now I'm curving it. It's better to see the straight shapes first when you're first learning, and then the curves. Don't let the curves confuse you. Where are we at? 23. All right, thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, we had 70 people sign up. The most we've had in class is 50 at one time. That was pretty cool. But yeah, it's just practice. We're just here to practice the lessons. You really got to know where you're at and really practice the lessons. Once the lessons go up, and then once the lessons go up, we're gonna just really speed up. Really gonna speed up. I'm not gonna do so much basic stuff because I'm gonna assume it's online. You go there. If you have questions, I'll answer questions. And then eventually, we'll go more advanced, and then eventually we'll go off the air. Yes, no more. But it'll all be there, and hopefully you can get into a book form, and hopefully that's all my intentions, my goal. All right, I'm putting a little more, getting that wing going. There's a little bit of shade, really nice in the background shade, and that's takes some practice to get that shade right. But there's that shading in those triangle parts makes that wing part pop. Just doing some cross shading. Yeah, all this stuff is just the shading is really just the icing on the cake. Icing on the cake. There we go. There's our wing. Our first wing is done. All right. And then the hair on this monster. He's a hairy monster. Yeah. I'm just trying to get that hair that goes on that circle. See how I just did that? I'm doing it at an edge. And again, that's also a bit of practice. If you can get it, great. If you're having trouble with it, it's all right. Don't worry about it. You'll get it. You'll get it. What's important is the structure, seeing the structure. See, now I'm actually adding this little bit of a curve right there at the top of that eye. And then pushing this down. It was a more of a rectangle shape, or that kind of like angular. But now I'm curving it, just pushing it down, pushing this around. And it's kind of like the bridge, the eye that goes around the eye. There we go. All right, let me see. There we go. Yeah, there's more going on. I'm simplifying it a little bit. Even with this ear, not the ear, the horn. It's a horn. There's this horn. It's triangular with a little bit of a curve. Yeah. And then we've got, ooh, this is actually starting to get into form. Our next level. This is a cone, and it's rounded like this and kind of gives you that cone shape. See, just by this roundedness, it gives you a cone. So this is a little more advanced. We're starting to move into more advanced, and that's the form. You got to practice drawing the forms, or seeing the forms, practice drawing the forms. That'll help with this next level. All right, let's get those eyes in there. Let's get the big eye first. Here we go. This big eye, this part right here. There's that part right there, that part of a bigger circle kind of, and it goes into a little bit of a bag on that eye. And then you've got this other part around it going this way. And then you've got the eyebrow kind of up, going up and over. There's a little bit, notice these little overlappings, right? The roundedness here and the overlapping of this eyebrow, how it cuts in, it really cuts into that circle. And this circle part of the eye cuts into that circle as well. And then it kind of, here it swoops onto that other eye that's over there. And actually, ooh, I'm gonna have to bring that eye down. This bubbly eye, I'm gonna bring this one down. It's okay. It's not perfect. It's all right. Let's get the top of that mouth up in here. Yeah, just getting back into it. All right, that's it. Let's zoom in on that so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, right in there, those eyes. There we go. Yeah, if I'm going too slow, practice your own drawing, practice your own stuff. What's important is the process. What's important is, patience, playing the long game. It doesn't happen overnight. And then knowing what you want to draw, like, knowing what you want to draw. So having some inspirational pictures, like the person I was helping today, they had flowers. They want to learn how to paint flowers. That's their motivation too. So we're, okay, that gives you something to shoot for. All right, there's my eye. It's in this half, right? In the front half of the circle. We're breaking that circle in half, eyeball it, and then eyeball the eyeball. And then we've got that pupil that's right about there. And a little bit shaded in. You kind of see a little bit, there's a little bit of lights and reflections inside, but I'm not gonna worry about making it perfect. And then you've got the other same thing, but just part of it just peeking out because of the overlapping. Is behind that, right in there, like that. There we go. Ta-da! There's our eyes. They look pretty good. Yeah, the eyes are in there. The eyes have it. All right, let's get that other wing. This is the front part. Let's get that other wing that's back there. Go. And that's why drawing creatures is fun, because it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, this is your creature. It's when you start trying to do the portraits that you have to be more accurate, but you can try working on accuracy. Like somebody said, I'm the only one that can make a stick figure very complicated. Yeah, because if you want, you can make it accurate. Our stick figure is pretty accurate. I mean, it's pretty close to the original. I mean, it's not just, you know, even though it's a simple stick figure. All right, here we go. Let's continue. We're almost there. And actually, we're probably just about halfway. You can see I added that curve to that wing. We have that one triangle, and then we have that curve on there. And then we have two more center parts. There's one that's going to be right here, and then another one that's going to be right in there. See, and I'm doing it really lightly, kind of just putting it where it's kind of go. And then I can go ahead and get that thick to thin. Maria said she was going to be here. I saw her sign up, and she's not here. Yeah, she's one of the 70 that did not show up. We're gonna have to have her get a absence slip. She's gonna need a note from the doctor or something. All right, here we go. So there's that. There's just those two parts, and then there's the third one. I'm gonna bring it down, even though I did this one, and I did this one too high. Now I can bring that lower, even though it was a mistake. Now that I'm looking at it, I can bring that third one down here, right there. Oh, and there's that. Let's check. Get messages. Oh, here's my marker. Found the marker. I moved it when I moved my notes. That's what happened. I was looking for this marker earlier. I told you it'd show up. There we go. I put a sign on our washers that no washing on Thursdays. Not only resale tickets, Taylor Swift's 6-show residency at SoFi Stadium. Ticket prices are falling. Oh, wow, ticket prices are falling. Yeah, no, they were so expensive. Some people paid thousands, hundreds of dollars to go see Taylor Swift. All right, good. We're getting there. Oh, let's finish up the wing up here. Connect the webbing. It's kind of like webbing right there. Just go in there, connect that webbing now. Just go in there, connect that webbing. A little curve. And then one more right in there. Yeah, and if that's what you're practicing on, getting that sharp edges, you can get that sharp edges here too. Let's see. And it's all just practice, because that's what your focus is. Okay, my focus is getting that sharp edges. All right, here we go. That's it. Okay, so there's a nostril in here. The nostril's kind of like a circle shape. That's the circle here, but you're only seeing the top of the circle. You're only seeing that top of that circle and the inside of that nostril. I kind of like that, this little oval shape. There's the top, and then there's that inside. That's the nostril. Here's the mouth, the top part of that mouth. Before we get to the teeth, here's the top part of the mouth, and the let's zoom out a little bit. This mouth part comes down here, and there's a lot of teeth. But this shape here is the important part. Getting this this to be solid. And see how we use that circle? That circle makes our drawing solid. Capturing that form, that structure, and that mouthpiece that kind of sticks out here. And then here, this is just like an oval shape in there, and that oval shape in there. We have the tongue. I think I'll start with the tongue and then put the teeth in. So let's start with the tongue. The tongue is two shapes. It's like a heart shape. You've got this one lub-dub heart shape with a little bit of overlapping, fitting right in there and coming down. There's that heart shape. There we go. My heart needs a second chance, and it's getting that second chance. And I'm very happy. I don't know if she's here. Yeah, she's still here. I wonder if she's listening. All right, let's go. All right, so here we go. Let's do these. We have, now we can start breaking this down. We have four teeth on this side, four teeth right in here. We need to fit four teeth. I can see four. And then I can see two teeth at the bottom, two teeth at the bottom. Oh, and I'm missing the thickness here. Oh, I totally missed it. I made a mistake here. So I need to either bring this up, which I'm going to bring it up slightly, and then bring this down slightly, because there's a thickness here. There's that thickness. I usually don't erase, but I would probably erase right there. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to. It's more important to do your drawing, especially when you're in your sketchbook. Nobody's going to see this, just you. And I can easily just erase it with shading over it. See, now I have that thickness right in there. Right in there. That's okay. Yeah, because there's that thickness. That's it. That even opens up the mouth more. So I know I have four teeth. I can actually just 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are the four teeth that are going to go right in there. And then you've got 2 at the bottom, 1, 2, and then another 3 on this side sticking out. And they're kind of like in shadows. 1, 2, 3. They're kind of like in shadow in there. Then you have like 4 on this top side up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. These lines are just giving me the spacing and the size, not the width, not the shape. I'm just getting the size, the height of them. So there's that, and there's like 5 teeth. Let me see, is it 5? I see 3, 5, and well, it's actually 6. But there's one tooth that really stands out to me. These 3 teeth here, and this third tooth. It's almost finding that center tooth. There's this tooth here, and there's 2 on the left and 3 on the right. So there's 5 teeth, but this tooth here really stands out for me, like this center one. And then now I can, using that center one, I know there's 2 on this side, 2 on the left, these 2 teeth right here, and then 3 on the right. And they're a little bit smaller as they go back here. 1, 2, 3, 3, that's the third one. And then there's, yeah, that third one's like right at the tip, right at the tip. All right, that's it. And then there's 4 teeth here. There's my 4 teeth. All right, I'm going to start with this this tooth here. This one, right at the tip. That tooth right in there. Let's zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. There it is. All right, so we've got this tooth. Notice how all that shading, all that stuff back there is just all that sketching becomes part of the shading. See, it's kind of like part of the shading. Here now I'm getting bold. I know what I'm here. I know what I want. Boom, and you go bold. Same thing. You know, once you know what you want, you just really boom, you go bold. You know, it took me a long time to figure out what I wanted. In certain things, you know, sometimes you struggle in life, knowing what you want in a partner or in whatever. And then once you know, it's like, okay, boom, you don't settle. You kind of like, okay, this is what I want. This is what, you know. And sometimes you don't get it, and that's okay. You just keep at it. You just keep at it, and you keep at it. Like here, this is kind of what I wanted, but I know, like going from right to left, I can see this tooth needs to be moved over, but it'll fall in place. You can see how my spacing, I'm watching my spacing, but now I know this one needs to be moved over. This one, this tooth needs to be moved over a little bit. There's that tooth right in there. See how I just moved it over, and you can't even tell. You can't even tell that that tooth was moved over. It all becomes part of shading. I can shade the back mouth, and you get all that gets lost. There is shading in there. Here we go. Here's the next tooth. There it is. The next little, and this next one right here, the tooth fairy. Right there. Boom. The psychology of shape too. This shape is really, really strong, powerful, dangerous, sharp, scary. These teeth, imagine them taking a little bite out of you. All right. There's that. Then there's the throat. There's the throat in here. Let's throw in the throat right in there. We got the tongue. And then there's a lot of overlapping. Kind of makes it a little confusing. But this is shaded in here. Let's go open a little bit more. No personal hygiene on Thursday. Demi in the house. Personal hygiene. Hi, Jean. Oh my gosh, that was yeah, terrible joke on it was oh gosh, what was that? It was Howard Stern, kind of like a Howard Stern documentary. And that was the joke. Hi, Jean. My shading is a lot smoother. And actually, I think shading smoother is easier than shading it like getting that textured shading, which is actually something you should shoot for as well. But this smoother shading is easier to do when you're first starting out. Unlike this, see up here, you can see that texture. Let me zoom in. You can see that textured shading where it's just nicely gapped. And then you have this other smoother shading inside the mouth. Again, that shading here is a little harder to do because you're just like spacing it, and it takes, this takes some skill, some practice. That's what you should be aiming for, because it adds a nice texture to it, as well as shading. And then this one is the shading that you can probably do right now. If you're somewhere in between, that's fine. Just do the shading until you get that other shading and say, okay, I'm gonna try to get that kind of like comic book shading. All right, let's get these other teeth in here. No personal hygiene. I know. Oh my gosh. With some students too, it was kind of sad. I don't know. Some students needed to be pulled aside and told about their hygiene sometimes. But, it's tough. It's tough. All right, here we go. Teaching in the inner city. All right, so here's one tooth. We're gonna go from top to bottom. There's one. Bring this up. I already have them there. The top looks like it's straighter, and then the bottom looks like it's curved. I'm trying to draw what I see. They kind of look like shark fins. Oops, a little lower. There's another tooth. And there's some shading in this drawing. There we go. And let's speed up on this. Speed up. And then the shading inside the tongue, a little bit lighter, but just in between the teeth. It makes the teeth pop. Having that contrast, that shading on the tongue makes those teeth pop. Bam. That slight shading. Notice how those teeth pop. You're putting a value. You're changing that back there. Then we've got our three teeth right here, which are just three little triangles. And they kind of, you're just seeing that edge. They fade into this background. They're not outlined. They're not anything. It's all just kind of like in shadow. You don't have to draw every little detail all the time. This artist knows that. They're having those teeth kind of just fade into the darkness of that inside part of the mouth. Gives it a really nice contrast of lights and darks. And that really helps when you get into painting, knowing value. That was our lesson for today in our class, is value. That's more important than color. Seeing the lights and darks, seeing value. Right. Here, I'm putting those other teeth in really quickly at the top, those three, maybe four. Yeah, there was four. It's all right. Like shadow, they fade into the inside part of the mouth. Well, I'm having them fade. He has them go a little bit darker. They do go a little bit darker at the edges. All right, there's my teeth. There's that. All right, let's get that other arm. We got most of it done. All we need is the arm and the legs, and we're done. I think that's it. Look at that. It's coming along. Little details, little wrinkles on that mouth right in there. All right, cool. We didn't have any bombers tonight. I thought we were. I was already prepared, getting ready to knock them out. And we got you hardcore heroes hanging in there. It's already going to be 7:46, and we got you still here. That's awesome, hanging in there. All right, we have our triangle for our arm. There is a socket, and there's a little bit of a circle there. See that circle? I can easily just put that on top of there. And then the arm kind of goes big into the hand and down in there. But we did see that triangle, and now we can see that arm socket, which is kind of like a circle, but it's not like the nostril. It's only part of it. You're only getting the top part, and then you're getting these parts right in there. These parts right in here. That's it. See those three parts. Kind of looks like a radiation symbol, but it's that. And then you have the arm kind of sticking out of that, and it goes thicker. There's it tapers. I'm going to try to capture that taper. Then there's a little bit of an angle there. And I think we lost Pearl. Pearl was on her phone. Sorry, Pearl. Technology. And I'm still following AI. I'm still following AI, and it's just getting more and more mind-blowing. So it's something that I've been following. So if you're interested in that AI stuff, you know, the second hour, third hour, we can probably talk a little bit about it. And if you want to really follow through, I don't know, I might make that second night about AI. Who knows? I don't know yet. We'll see. So not jumping into that second night just yet. All right, now the arm is a little complex, right? I think I probably could have used a little more space here. It's not sending. Let me move this a little more to the left. But there's two angles here. There's this here, and then it curves into a point. That finger, like right there. Notice these angles. There we go. That's it. Kind of looks like a W. Notice the angles. And it gets thin to thick. There's that arm. There's that arm. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that arm. There's that arm. Same thing with the leg. Same thing with the leg. There's a socket or something in here, and it's that circle, that oval shape or circle shape right in there. And again, it's just those three. It's down the bottom part, and then the leg coming out of it, and then the top part, which is kind of like a scribble up in here. That's kind of showing that that socket, that circle part, and that joint is there. And even here, they no joints. So there's a little bit of a knee. A little bit of a knee. That's it. A little ball of a knee. This is already an intermediate kind of drawing. Intermediate to almost advanced, I would say. So if you're struggling, that's okay. Struggle is real. Struggle is good. Just keep at it. Don't give up. All right, let's just focus in on that foot. But I did do that leg. I'm kind of focused in quite a bit. I did have that oval shape. It does kind of taper open. Maybe I'm pushing that a little too open on the top. It needs to open. So I'm closing it up a little bit. It needs to open up just slightly. And then you've got the triangular pointy toes that kind of curve out. There's 1, 2, and 3. And thank you, Ellen, for posting this picture. I really like it.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Anybody else? Feel free to find pictures, find what inspires you, what you'd like to learn how to draw. It's all the same. It really is. Say, I'm having trouble with this, and it's okay to have trouble. You can see how I would break it down. And it's just the same thing all the time. I'm trying to see the big shapes to the middle-sized shapes, and then the detail afterwards. And then if you really want to get accurate, you can actually do grid drawing, and there's other things you can do. We don't do too much of that. You can do grid drawing. It takes longer. This is actually a little faster than grid drawing, because then in the grid drawing, well, you go square by square, and you do get really accurate, and you can go really big if you wanted to. You can draw really big with the squares. It was an interesting thing I saw this weekend, actually. It was Michelangelo's grocery list. And what was funny about it was he had the items written down, and then you probably can find it if you look for it. Then he had drawings because his servant didn't know how to read. So that was interesting. So he had drawings of fish and other things. All right, there's a shadow in here, and you can see the shadow shape. It's right in here. You can see the shadow shape, right? That line right there is where that shadow kind of is, that area. And I can shade that whole area. Shade that area up to that line. That's the shadow. And it does get lighter as it comes out this way. Make that darker. Oh, we're almost done. I just need the tail. Just need the tail, the detail. The detail is at the end. There it is. Try to get that curve. I kind of not getting it. I'm going to push this out a little bit more and curve it. There we go. Get that curve. See, push that curve a little bit. Pushing that curve. It's like an S curve. Reverse S curve. There we go. And there's that triangle. Everything's shapes. Look for shapes. See how all the shapes fit. And there you go. That's our puzzle for tonight. See, ta-da. Little flying demon. Would hate to get bit by him. He would definitely leave like a circle shape. That mouth. Circle shape bite. And you can actually see the thickness of lines. Some lines are thicker, some are thinner. If you want to get that line quality, look at it and go back, and there's some shadows here and there, little things I'm going to probably put in here. It's got like a hairy back, a little bit of shade, a little more shade on there, maybe a little bit of shade down here, make it rounder, even though the leg probably, there's that. I can probably even put a little bit of shadow under this arm to make it pop a little bit, even though it doesn't have it in the drawing. You start understanding these forms. Somebody said drawing from memory. Well, understanding these forms, say, hey, you can just draw from memory, from memory. I'm drawing from memory because I know what a sphere looks like. See, I'm making that rounder, a little more rounded, making this a little more rounded, a little bit of shadow here and there, and making it more real. Look at, I'm making this into, there is one there. There's a little bit of shading here on this form, right? Making it look more like a cone. That horn. Oh, there's another horn we missed. Just when you thought it was over. One more horn. Here we go. One horn right in here. No, no horn jokes. All right, here we go. There it is. I don't know. There's three. I think three. I'm missing one. Throw it in there. And again, yeah, that's form. Ta-da! There it is, our drawing. All right, let's go to the next one. Next one. Next drawing, share my screen. There we go. All right. All right. Shall we go with, let's see what's next here. Oh, that one's cool. That one's cool. Yeah, we already got one. I think I'm going to speed this one up. I'm going to draw this one even faster. I'm going to go even faster here. Let's do this one. I'm going to go faster. Faster, pussycat. So let me block this out again. I'll block this out so you can see what I'm going to do. And I'm going to draw this one even faster. And there's less. There's quite a bit of shading. The shading is what's kind of interesting. But notice there, look at that oval right in there. Boom, that oval. There's like an oval shape there. And then it drops down even more with another oval shape right in kind of there. And you've got another kind of like oval shape up in here. Let's move this around. Put it in there. Oh, there it is. Boom, look at that. See that oval shape? And then this other oval shape. Open that up a little more. That's it. Then you got the eyes. Then you got the body. The body's kind of like a pear shape, but it's still too that kind of like oval shape, that sphere. because you can break this down. I mean, but it's better to see the big shapes. And even these angles, this angle here, that angle, bam, and that angle, the way it kind of swoops out. And then the tips of the feet, notice, look at this, a lot of people miss this. This helps with setting it. One's a little higher, one's a little lower. This is really important. Even the horns are pretty much straight across. But noticing this, noticing those angles, the angles that really aren't there. All right, well, actually, I'll keep that one. All right, I think we can do it from there. Oh, I could have zoomed in better, but it is what it is. All right, screenshot, and let's jump on this. I'm going to draw this really fast. See if you can, that's the challenge. See if you can keep up. Keep up, keep up. Oh, where's my chat box? I see participants. You guys are hanging in there. Awesome. Where's my chat box, though? Chat, GPT. Oh, there's something in chat. I added 2 pictures, self-portrait of Monet, our artist of the day. Mikey Angelo's grocery list. It's the grocery list is there. Huh? You got it. That's great. I just saw that. That was really interesting. There we go. There's our capture the flag. There it is. Yeah, somebody wanted to do portraits. All right, so there's that one. I'm gonna share also the picture without the guides. So I'm gonna share it one more time, and I'm gonna draw really quick. So get ready. I'm gonna do this super fast. Oh, I see Pearl still here. Awesome. Here we go. I'm gonna do it one more time. Screenshot without the guidelines. All right, here we go. We're gonna do this really quickly. Watch. This one's gonna be fast. And with the shading, I'm gonna get the shading in there too. So watch what level you're on. Watch what level you're on. If you're a beginner, this will be actually pretty good for a beginner to this. I don't know, we'll see. I think this is pretty good for a beginner to advanced. All right, so here we go. We're getting that oval shape. This is going to be good. I feel this is going to be good. I already feel it's going to be good. And notice how sketchy it is, right? There's that oval shape. Notice the height compared to the width, right? It's probably a little bit more than twice as long as it is wide. If we want to measure it, here's one. It's about, yeah, twice as wide. Twice as wide as it is high. That's the ratio. Then you've got the other one right above that. A little bit smaller and a little bit wider. Right about in there, probably a little lower. Right. See how I'm adjusting? And then here, the next one down here, a little bit lower. There's that shape right in there. And all this is going to be part of my shading. I don't even have to worry about shading with my sketching. There's that right in there. The belly of the beast right in there. There's going to be right in there. And then the angles of that shape right in there. And then 1 foot here. And the other foot or toe up there. Slight angle to it. There's that angle. Bring this down a little bit more. And then I didn't really compare the size of the head to the body, but I'm assuming you can get that. Because yeah, we can compare that. Definitely that's bigger. This is bigger than the body. The head is bigger than the body. Then you've got a wing back in here. It's a big old wing. There's a wing shape in there, another wing shape in there. And I'm just blocking it in. I'm not worrying about the detail. Some wings about that shape right in there. Well, when we get there, we'll get there. All right. That was quick. See, that was pretty quick. And there's still more detail. Like there's a hand in here. There's another hand in here. Right. All right. Let's do this. This is going to go, I feel a lot faster. All right. So we've got one eye in here. The nose. Let's do the nose. It's probably bigger. There's a nose shape in here. There's like a nose shape. And then you've got one eye here. And then another eye here. This is all really sketchy. Really sketchy. There's an eye. Right. I'm just kind of sketching it in. There's the eyebrow. That's kind of go over it. This eyebrow probably a little bit higher. Getting in there like that. And then we've got the horns kind of sticking out. Got one horn there. One horn over there. I'm going to get pretty detailed. Somebody asked about drawing realistic. All right, I think I can nail this one pretty quickly. If you get the realism, great. If you don't, that's okay. I'm gonna do the drawing and then I'm gonna do all the shading and try to get the shading realistic. So if you can get it, great. If you don't, that's okay. That's where you're at. That's where you're at. If you want to struggle, if you want to fight it, you can fight it. Or if you want to say, okay, this is where I'm at right now, and accept it, accept it. Be accepting, where you're at. We can't all, it just takes time to get there, and don't get frustrated. People get frustrated and they give up and they get the cats in the pants. Don't get the cats in the pants. I can't, right? Here we go. And doing it more realistically, you wouldn't have really strong lines. You really wouldn't. I'll talk about that when we get there, the shading. All right, so I'm going to zoom in. Let's zoom in on this face. Okay, so yeah, let me actually, before I zoom in, let's put those teeth in there because we already get in that top part. And this teeth is kind of like the teeth kind of go in here, like right in there. Then we got teeth. We got one tooth here, one tooth there. And again, look at, I'm just putting in the lines kind of where the teeth are kind of go, the size of the teeth. I'm not worrying about the thickness. It's just the angle and the placement. The angle and the placement. There's two teeth over here. And they're white. Well, actually, supposedly white. They're not exactly white. Why do you say that? There's shades in there. And then there's a lot of in and out, in and out, in and out. With this mouthpiece. So it comes in and out. There's a lot along in there around this tooth, in and out. Even though that line was there, it's just going in and out, in and out, in and out, along this line, this tooth under it, right under that tooth, then that other tooth right under it. Oh, right in there. I'm happy with that. All right, we're getting it going. All right, I'm going to zoom in on the face. This is the most important part right in here. All right, so I'll let you catch up if you're still trying to catch up right there. This part of the face, the most important part. And then I'll get that out of the way. Oh, did I don't think I posted the detail one. I didn't. There it is. Oh, there it is. There's the detailed one. Oh, it looks, oh no, I was gonna say it looked lighter. It did, but there it is. So if you want the one without the guides, that it is there now. We don't need the guides anymore. All right, let's take a look. So this nose is really interesting. This nose actually overlaps, is in front of the eye. So I'm going to draw that part of the nose first. Let's zoom in. Are we zoomed in enough? There we go. This part of the nose, it goes over the eye, that part. This one slightly, not as much as this part, that little bit of overlapping. You want to capture that overlapping. Most people will miss this. So you don't want to miss that nose and how big it is there. And then here we go. Let's get that first eyeball, the inside part. It's about that big right in there. And it's behind the nostril. Let's push it back a little bit more. So you notice how I'm getting it behind this nostril. That's really important, getting it behind that nostril. And there's that. It does pull in a little bit. Then the pupil. Right in here, here's the pupil. And inside that, that's the iris, I'm sorry, the iris. And then inside that is still a pupil, really small, really small. I'm going really small in there, right in there. I just lost it. I lost it. I lost my detail. That's okay. Not a big deal. I'm actually drawing kind of small. That's all right. And then you have the red part. There's this thickness part of the eye, that red part. And there, and then around in here. We're drawing from a sculpture. We're actually drawing from a picture of a sculpture. That's what it is, to be more technically correct. I'm not happy with that eye, but it's good enough. I'm not happy with it. It's okay. All right, now this eyeball sticks out of that as well. This eyeball sticks out. Well, let's take a look at the actual picture. There it is. Eyeball sticks out. After this, I'll share those pictures of Michelangelo's grocery list and a portrait. Portraits are tough. I am picking up the speed, so I am going to be picking up the speed on our drawing. Here's a pupil on this side. Hopefully I don't lose you. There's the pupil, and then the iris is the light part. I'm trying to keep that light. I'm going to throw shading in there. I'm throwing slight shading. I mean, I know that it's the red in there. I'll throw the shading in there. And here we go. Here's the nostril. There's my eyes. I'm pretty happy with those eyes because it's a ball, and then it's surrounded by this part right here, and it has a little bit of shading. I'm putting a little bit of shading in there, adding a little bit of reality to it. So this nose, this nostrils kind of have the top part kind of has this little triangular part, if you can see it, kind of coming down like that. Notice that nostril kind of like that. And then the bottom of that nostril kind of curves around it like that. It's kind of hard to notice. They almost look like ovals in there, but if you notice carefully, the top part has that kind of like a little bit of an angle to it. There we go. Close that up, shade it in, shade it in. There it is. Notice it's coming in together. It's coming together really quickly. Here is that the horn, that horn on this side. And then it comes out. And then it's attached. It's attached. It's attached to that right there. And then there's little holes in the horn. They're all really dark. This all is just detail. I sometimes save the detail for last. But as you practice, you can go back and forth. But try to see the big shapes. And you should be able to kind of go back and forth from the big shapes to the small shapes to detail and then back. But you really want to go from big to small. Because here now I'm just putting the details, and then I can even put some shading in here while we're here. Right here in this area, in this horn. There's a little bit of shading, even though it's light. It's not totally white. It's a white horn. Same thing with the teeth. There's shading in there. And we can actually shade the background and make that pop a little bit more. And then all in here, there's texture. All this blue stuff. See, I'm starting to do some shading. All right, let's get those teeth in here. We got that. Notice all the detail and stuff on that horn. Just done really quickly. If you can get it, great. If you can't, that's okay. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. I am putting a little more observational drawing. So notice that tooth there, that one, and then this one is behind it. That one's behind it. It's behind, oops, like that. The overlapping. That tooth goes in there, fits in there like that. That's pretty good. Get that other tooth in there. All right, this tooth right in there. I like that right in there. So the dentist went to the, had to go to court. Actually, the judge had to go to the dentist. I'm ruining this joke. I'm making it up as I go. So the judge had to go to the dentist, and the judge tells the dentist, "Do you promise to pull the tooth, the whole tooth, but nothing but the tooth?" So help me. Ta-dance. Another joke. I don't think I've said that joke. That's a joke I haven't said in a long time. Is this mic on? No. All right, it's all good. All right, there's the T.
No, we've never heard that one before.
Okay. Just wasn't funny. All right, there you go. You see these teeth. It's really interesting about all these teeth is how big they are, the spacing, all that stuff. Kind of almost have to look at it and I kind of did a lot of the work when I did the lines and the shapes, the angles, all that stuff. I kind of just did it really quick on the fly without describing it. And you can get to that. You can really get to that. It just takes time. It really does. You can just do it without thinking. It becomes automatic. It really does. It really becomes automatic. That's what makes learning to draw hard, because people who learn how to draw but they can't explain it. They just do it. It's like explaining how you walk. Well, you put one foot, then another foot, but can you really break it down? Can you really break it down? Breaking it down, that's hard. Okay, you're gonna okay, you put more weight on this foot, and then it's kind of hard. You just do things automatically. Sometimes you even forget how you did it. All right, so here we go. I'm just putting a little bit of shade. I got that little bit of a shade up here on this part of the mouth. See, I'm adding some of the shading without describing it. I'm just doing it. Just do it. I'm getting some more shade in here. Actually shade out some of that guidelines that I have. Make those teeth pop, even though there was some shading on them. Making the teeth pop. You don't have to go wider. You can just go darker around it. It's all relative, especially with values and shading and painting when you get into painting. And then you've got all this little texture with the little holes. Add some more holes. I'm just throwing them in there, not getting too accurate. There's a lot of little holes, a lot of little texture. So I'm just putting all that texture in here now. Just putting the little dots, all the little texture. Even here where the horn is, there's like this little texture. Texture goes last. Somebody said about making it look realistic. It's really seeing the lights and the darks, and being able to record what you see. All this is the icing. This is the icing I always talk about and never do. All this goes on top. I don't know, for some reason I feel this icing is easier than my other shading and my other stuff than we've done in the past. So I'm doing a little more shading tonight than I usually do. Usually it takes longer too, so don't worry if you're taking longer or you don't get the shading. It's not a big deal. And if I really wanted to get accurate, these craters, these little holes actually have it gets light around them. Watch, let me see if I can do it. Shade all this in here. Even though it's white, there's shade and it's light on one side. It's a cone. I'm shading it like a cone. Then it goes a little bit darker. There's like a little bit of a highlight around that crater. I can try to get it, but it's a really small detail. Yeah, getting realistic. It's a good goal. It's a good goal to shoot for. And then once you hit it, it's you don't even have to hit it 100%. You gotta know why you're drawing. Why are you drawing? And for who are you drawing? Is it just for yourself? That's fine. Have a sketchbook and don't show it to anybody. You don't have to show your work. Just do it for fun. All these are puzzles. I always think drawing is like a puzzle. I'm getting all these shapes and all the. Oh, you didn't see. I don't think when I did that horn, it was visible. But it's a puzzle. And then getting the lights and the darks, and you know what you're focusing on. Now I'm getting all the shading in here, and this is a lot more shading than I usually do. Oh, look at that. There's a lot of little detail in this bottom part of that mouth. Right in here. Look at that top. Looking good. All right. The bottom part, there's all this detail. I see this one really stands out. There's a circle right in here. There's one right in there. And then another one right about here, a little smaller. And then another one right about there. But we see we have this is all just detail. It doesn't even matter if we're off on this stuff. The big structure is good, is done, it's strong, it's solid. And we're just decorating it. We're just putting things on top of it. And this bump actually sticks out. Here, you can stick it around. See, I can go around it. Bam, right in there. See how I just went around it? I drew it and then went around it. Comes down, there's more bumps. Little bumps, little detail. I can just shade around all that. Bump there. I don't know if that one went there. I'm just throwing it in there because it's pretty even. There's a pattern. I'm just following the pattern now. I'm not even worrying about accuracy. I'm just following the pattern. All right, there's that. And I can see where now I'm probably going to move this line over. This line here, where that is, this angle there. See that angle of that body right in there. Bring that out. And then there's a leg part. I'm exaggerating here so you can see this leg. kind of stick out and come back in. You have the body, and then you have that leg. And actually, this leg kind of goes up. That's all right. Not too worried. Oh, maybe if you could see it, that would help. Then you've got this toe, and it's a tear shape. It's this tear shape. Tear shape. There we go. And it's attached. All right. All right, all right. 19. Again, if you have questions, throw them in the chat. If you're struggling with something, if you want me to repeat something, this is live. You can interact. You know, you probably have the same question. I don't know if you can probably go anonymous in there in the chat. Say, hey, can you repeat that? Can you say that joke over again? The judge goes to
What
dinner.
do you do to make it more like 3D? Is it shading or?
The shading, and it's more than that too. You can see how light it is right here. It's not flat. See that it's light and then it goes dark, right? So it's these patterns of light and dark. It's having that control. So and making it more 3D is doing that. Knowing the form. See, I know this is the form, so this is darker right in here, and this makes that pop. Yeah, because I've never really done this with this much shading before. And in here, it's lighter on the top, and then it gets darker underneath. See, so it's just all this little slight stuff and understanding form. Like here, there's this thickness on this lip. So, and even here, these teeth, one part of it is darker and one part is lighter. And I can go in here and darken up a part of it. See, it's really just pencil control. Here, see it, this tooth sticks out too much. And I can put a little bit of shadow on one side. See, and it's just really slightly touching it. I'm just really slightly just touching it. But now notice one side's light and one side's dark, and it looks more real, looks more dimensional. These teeth look a little more dimensional because I'm just shading one side. I'm not going totally accurate, but I'm giving it that sense. And I can darken up this background a little bit to make that pop more. See, I'm pushing it with values. And that's the whole thing. I mean, you got to know your values. Value is more important than color. Once you understand value, then coloring this is easier. You can just color this pretty easy because you know the lights and the darks. All right. Like here, this whole area, watch this. Let's zoom out so you can see what I'm talking about right in here. All this, I'm going to shade in, even my little circles, I'm going to shade in lightly. I'm just going to put one light shade through this whole thing. It's all kind of like the same value. It's all this, because this is the lightest light. This is the lightest light. And I'm just going to build up my darkness now. See, that's all shaded now. Now I'm going to push that a little bit darker. I'm going to push it a little bit darker, but this time I'm just going to get this. I'm not going to go up in there. I'm going to go from here down, and I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to stop at the where the little circles are at. And even though they're shaded, they're lighter now, right? They're popping out a little bit. And I'm going to soften this edge now a little bit. There is some texture, but I'm just kind of softening it up as I go back to the second pass in there. And then now I can go in here and actually push some of the shadows, shade around it, bring that down. Let's see, that pops right in there. I can push this a little bit more, a little bit like the light's coming from that side, and there's a little bit of shadow on this side. And it looks three-dimensional because it's only like a crescent moon. See that little crescent moon right in there? I'm kind of seeing that. I can actually, shade around it. And because it's lighter, it kind of pops even a little bit more. That pops. Here, same thing with this one. I'm going to shade this side a little bit pushing it a little bit more. Yeah, it's starting to get that form. Yeah, we're definitely jumping into stuff that's a little more advanced. And it's really observing and seeing the lights and darks and pushing, getting maybe even a darker pencil. This is an HB2. It's a medium, but I can push it pretty hard. I can push it pretty dark. And then this one really pops. This one's really light. I might even go in there. Yeah, I can make that darker around it. And this makes it look lighter because I'm going darker around it. And bring some of that darkness out. Little bumps. Yeah, that little detail and soft edges. See, I'm making all these edges soft around it, softening it. And yeah, I'm using hatching and circles, going in between both of them. Those are the main ways to shade anyways. Hatching, which is just making lines, and then circulism, which is making little circles, softening it up. So I go between both of those to get more realistic shading. The lines can be more texture, because there is more texture, and I can actually even go in here and get more texture on these lines. See, I'm going to put all these lines on top now, right on top here, right on top. I can add this texture because there is all this scraping right on top of it. See, and I added that on top. Boom! Look at that, just real quick, and it's in that area down here. It kind of gets lost. And notice I kind of like the way I curved it, because I understand, I feel that form. See how I have it curving this way, and then I have it curving this way when I get on this side. And just those little things. That's just kind of like doing a pumpkin. When you do a pumpkin, watch this, a pumpkin. All right, let's say this is a pumpkin. The lines going this way, and then when you pass the center, they start going this way. Right, so that's the thing with a pumpkin. It's getting those shapes, and that's what's happening here. As it's turning this way, and then it turns that way, getting that form. It's understanding form, understanding shading. There's a lot of things to understand if you want to get to make it look real, right? And if you don't understand those, don't have that makes it harder. All right, let's get some of this background wing, which doesn't even look like a wing. It's really abstract back in here, but it's a wing, and like lost in here, lost in space. There's a wing with like 3 holes in it or something. I don't know what's going on. Can you see it? 3 little holes, and then lightly shaded. It's not as dark as that. It's, yeah, value control. Values. If it's too light or too dark, you can actually darken other areas around it to make it lighter. I can darken this area around it, and this will look lighter. Because everything's all relative. It's all relative. It's all relative. It all relates to each other. Colors too, when you put colors next to each other, they affect each other. I'm already just shading down here. See, I shaded, and because I know form, I see the light hitting the top, and then it comes down here. As it comes down, it gets darker. Put more dark in there. Same thing in here. See part of the light hitting the top, and then shading it, and then little detail circles. And you can see the difference between these two. I mean, if you look at these two now, because of the way I've been shading it, this is more of a cartoon, and this is more realistic, more yeah, getting there. It's because all it is shading. Some of life's pleasures: chocolate, puppies, sunsets, and Eladia's class. Aw, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thumbs up and hearts and aw. That is a good question. Does shading have different technique? Oh yeah, circling, lining, heavy light, the way holding the pencil straight, flat. Oh, that is a good question. Thank you, Cynthia. I'm struggling with everything, and your judge joke was super corny. Yeah, I know. Okay, you are listening. Yeah, I know. It's super corny. You know, it's the struggle is real. We're already jumping into the hard stuff. We really didn't, I don't know. We got to get some simpler drawings on here. We are jumping into the harder stuff. Just hang in there. And our website, I will have and now that I have my new computer, I can edit and get all the easy videos together. So, you know, you can do, if you're level 1, it'll be labeled level 1, and you can just do the level 1 drawings and do all the level 1 drawings until you feel comfortable and say, this is too easy. You go to level 2, and then you can go level 3. Oh my gosh. Okay, going back to the shading. I'm glad you guys are throwing stuff in the cracking me up. Stuff in the chat. All right, all right. Thank you, Ladio. This looks so good. I did it with sketch pen, so it looks all dark now with the texture. Oh, cool. All right, cool. Great. Can't wait for you to share. Oh my gosh, I'm cracking up. I need to get my thoughts straight. Okay, so shading. Yes, there's different techniques with shading. All right, so yeah, lining. I don't know what you mean by lining. But and you can also like here, I'm gonna put a shade in the background because this will make this pop. Oh, where are we at? This will make the eyebrow pop. I'm not gonna shade everything, but I'm gonna shade this out. I'm gonna shade this background. And by shading this background, because I know here this is light, it's gonna make it actually even more realistic because nothing's really white because I can shade this, and I'm just shading this with a hatch, and it's really tight. It's a really tight hatch. And because this is all in here, it's all that one value, I'm tightening it up. It's really tight. You're gonna notice even this horn right here is gonna pop even more and look even more realistic. And it's just a tight, really tight hatch. I'm doing a hatch kind of a shading. And there is different kinds of shading. I'm just shading. This is probably the most common one, just straight hatch lining. Then there's cross hatching, which going in a different direction. I can go in a different direction. And then layering it as well, trying to get it smooth. Sometimes you want your lines you want to see your lines up. Sometimes you want to see your lines and sometimes you don't. But notice how that pops. Notice how that pops now a lot more because we have that light, and it's a pattern of dark, light, dark, right? That's happening. So the background's dark, there's light, and then there's dark, and then there's light, and then there's dark. It's seeing that. Yeah, I've never done this much detail. If you go back to all my videos, this is the first time we're doing really a lot of shading. Look at all that shading in there. Yeah, if you're getting it, great. If not, it's okay. If you're struggling, it's okay. You know, you gotta know where you're at. You gotta go back, maybe, you know, people in 2nd grade, it's, you know, go back to whatever grade you think you need to be in. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You got to know what lane you're in, right? Everybody wants to be in the fast lane, or it's okay. You gotta, or maybe you're just getting on the freeway right now. You know, getting on the freeway is the hardest part. But once you're on, okay, you slowly get into the next lane, slowly get into the next lane. But you got to know where you're at. If you're just getting on the freeway, you know, that's the hardest part. And I congratulate you. Hey, all right, you're just getting started. You're just getting going. That's it. And it's just doing it. You just, you know, don't let things get you down. Don't let those little things get you down. Right. And getting when you're shading, the pencil does make a difference, getting the right shading pencils. And just drawing pencils. You don't have to get anything really fancy or expensive. You just find drawing pencils. Even regular pencils work. This is kind of like, this is a Ticonderoga Black HB. It's the world's best pencil, according to them. The world's best pencil, Ticonderoga, the world's best pencil. Premium wood, latex-free eraser, PEFC, whatever that is in the corner. And yeah, it's certified non-toxic. Black graphite point for smooth, easy writing. It's a graphite point.
Oh, it's graphite point because I have a box like that that says it's the world best pencil, and they're the yellow ones, but they don't say graphite point.
It should be graphite. All pencils graphite now. The lead is not, they don't use lead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's all graphite. There's some you can actually have silver, like the actual metal. It's expensive, but you can draw with silver point. It's called silver point. But yeah, lead, they don't use lead anymore because yeah, it is dangerous and poisonous. All right. I'm still doing the shading. That's the thing why we don't do shading, because it takes longer. Really does take longer to do the shading. And you can see how I can spend a lot more time in really seeing all the shading, the lights and the darks, and going in there and getting all that shading. All right, so I'm going to speed it up. I said I was going to speed it up, but the shading does take longer. And I'm just drawing these circles. This is not beginners, so we're not beginners anymore. So if you're a beginner and you're hanging in there, that's great. Congratulations, that's awesome. You're a warrior. If you're helping each other out, asking great questions, that you're a hero because you're helping. All questions help. Questions help, and then the shading one those are good questions. See, I wonder if I transitional kindergarten for me. Yeah, it's all good. It doesn't matter where you're at. You should be happy you're on the road. You know, happy that people. You know, doesn't matter where you're at. It's about where you're going again. We're back to that. And happy that you're on the road. Sometimes people, you know, hey, you're doing it. You're taking on the challenges. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have some. I can already see. Oh my gosh, if I didn't, I was looking up a video, and I found, instead of the video, I found the book version of the video. And they've been, in Spanish, they say te traen de carreta, which means they have you like a wheelbarrow. They're taking you like for a wheelbarrow. But in Spanish, it's a wheelbarrow, and that's, you know, they when somebody gets you and they just keep bringing up the same, you know, you make a mistake. The mistakes are good. You're learning. But sometimes they don't let you forget, which is cool. It's funny. I think it's just funny. I think it's funny. Some people, yeah, you got to keep things lighthearted. We can use a copper or bronze key to draw too. Yes, copper and draw. Yeah, you can. You can use keys. You can use, yeah, it's really interesting. Use different things to draw. And making a mark, it's that making of the mark. Right now, this belly looks really flat. This belly is really flat, right? I did shade it one shade. I'm gonna go in there and shade it rounded, right? It's kind of, I'm thinking almost like the moon. So now I'm shading this a little bit darker. And then as you understand how form is shaded, because it gets more complex, there's bouncing light, reflected light, all kinds of other stuff. But just a simple making it darker on the bottom like this just makes it a little more rounded. Check that out. That's now a little bit more rounded just by me shading this bottom part a little bit darker. Notice it's more rounded now. That belly is more rounded. And as I add the texture now, it's going to be even more rounded, because that texture here, these lines kind of coming around, add to that roundedness. And I just did that really quick. Notice how fast I'm just doing it in. So if you're getting lost, it's okay. It's my fault. Blame the teacher. But you also need to know where to take ownership. You got to take ownership. Say, okay, I'm going to take ownership. This is where I'm at. All right, that's okay. He's going fast. I'm doing the best I can. That's all you can do. You can't do better than that. And then the more you practice, the more you'll progress. Because you can do this. You can do this. Notice how I just break things down. It's all just shapes. You can do it. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. We got a testimonial. That's what we got. We got a testimonial. Testimonials. That's what we need. We need testimonials. That's why this is free. This not totally free. We want your testimonials. That's what we want. We want your testimonials. Okay, so I've got this circle toe and the triangular teardrop shape goes over it. There's overlapping. This kind of comes down right in here. See, you got that circle shape. Then you got this other kind of like, what is that? A teardrop shape, like coming through it. And then there's a little bit of overlapping. And that's it. And then you've got all the shading. And then you got all the detail in that order. So you want to kind of do that in that order. All right. Let's get to drawing. All right. I think we're almost done. I think we just need that other wing. It can go darker in these spots, but we're almost done. A little bit of shadow. There is shadow underneath it. You don't want it floating. So I'm going to just really quickly put a little bit of shadow under there. And, you know, the more detail I put in there, the longer it'll take, the more people fall asleep. How many people do we have? 18. We lost one person. See? Shouldn't do the shading. No, it's just kidding. All right, let's do this other wing. Last wing. Do this wing. We can use, yeah, okay. Where do you buy your pencil? I bought these online. I think I bought these online. Yeah, Amazon. But it doesn't matter. I can switch over to this pencil right here. This is a cheapy Oreo. It says number 2 on here. I probably need to put a little more lead on it. It doesn't really, especially when you're starting off, you know, you can invest in some nice pencils. You can go to the art store. I go to the art store, even Target. Don't go to Target. Walmart. Art stores. You can go to Walmart. Walmart it has some good art supplies there. No Target. We had this discussion. All right. All right, so you see, this is the Dixon Oriole, not the world's best pencil, but look, it still works. Not the world's greatest pencil. Maybe it gave me a little, what's that? I don't know. I'm getting a little, we'll see. I'm going a little bit darker in here. See, it's light, dark. Let's do this wing. Let's see how this Dixon does. All right, the wing, bringing it up here, curves down. We'll see how this Dixon does. Dixon Oriole pencil. I like Target. They do put art supplies in their bargain area, don't they? Yeah, I don't know. People canceling a lot of stuff. Yeah, yep. Here we go. I'm bringing this wing. So I've got the center lines here, and now I'm just putting the webbing kind of in here, the webbing part, and it's just going from one point to another point. See. That was the structure here, and then just the webbing kind of goes on it. A little bit of thickness. Neighbor's dogs yapping away. Here we go. Oh, something. Check my phone. Let's see. Personal, private. Yeah, it's a Wordle. No, it's Jeanette. Oh, you are drawing. That's awesome. That's funny. All right, so now I can see it. That's funny. Just looked at my phone. All right, so it does go darker in here. You can you know, squint your eyes. That's a good way of doing it. Squint your eyes to see the lights and the darks and try to capture it. You know, going from light to dark and trying to capture the different values.
Claudia, can you go up a little?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, trying to capture the different values, and you know, you can go over building up your values, you know, building up your values. And that was I just went darker in here with my Oreo pencil because there's more shading and stuff that kind of can happen, but that's taking too long. But you get the idea. I'm just going to finish up the wing and then call it quits on this one. All right, so here, let's go in there. All this shaded. And I have pencil control. I'm going lighter. I know the different values I want. You can't tell the difference. I mean, this is lead. It is a little bit not, I wouldn't say it's HB. I think it's probably just like an H pencil. It feels like an H. Just it feels like an H. I don't think I can get as dark as I can with that other one. That other one was more like a, yeah, well, if it's saying HB, different brands will say different things. But this is probably good for smooth shading, light shading. It won't get at this dark right there. If you're looking at that right there, I don't think I can get that dark. Let me see if I can get it that dark. See how hard, yeah, see if I push it. And pushing it actually really hard, probably even indenting my paper. It's getting close to that. But that's it. It is there. Got my shading. Get my shading in there. That wing, little points, and then the detail, the little pox, little just circles. A lot of little circles, a lot of texture. I'm just gonna get the feel of it. I'm not shooting for accuracy. I'm just putting little dots. That's all it is, little texture. Nobody's gonna compare both of them. Sometimes you want to shoot, you know, for super accuracy. Other times you just want to get the feel of it. Again, one of the questions that is really good, who are you doing this for? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for fun? Are you trying to communicate something? It's all the whys. Why are you doing this? Right? You're doing it to observe, doing it for fun. Practice your drawing skill, your observational skill. There's that wing. I didn't totally capture all the lights and the shades, but that's good enough for government work. All right, let's take a look at it and go next. Ooh, what's that? Amazon. What I love is my pencil sharpener that I can remove the wood only, so I don't get, oh, a super sharp point. Ooh, me too. What I use is a blade. Where's my blade at? I was using my blade earlier. I had it right here. Where's my blade? My blade. Oh, here it is. There's my blade. This is the blade I use. Sharpen your pencil. It's probably the best way. Sharpen a pencil, just, and then you push it away. Just being really careful. Especially when you get to more expensive pencils, you don't want to, you know, try not to waste. So you're really trying to get the most of your lead. Some people actually even use, to get the shape of your lead, use a little piece of sandpaper to get that shape. Shaping out. There it is. That's the lead. Lead out. You can also use to get some of the lead onto your paper like this, some of the shavings. You see, there's that. You can actually, I don't like rubbing. You can use tissue. A lot of people use this, so you can get that shade in there. It kind of looks a little dirty for me. I really like just shading. You can see the difference here. Some people, you know, do that. If you need to, when you're first learning, that's fine. But the best way to shade is really just trying to shade with pencil. If you need to do a combination of both, you can, as you slowly transition and you can actually shade pretty quickly and even soften and smoothen some stuff. But it's kind of like a no-no most of the time. But when you're learning, you can actually like really quickly shade stuff in. Use chamois, charcoal. You can use charcoal as well to do some shading. All right. I like that I have a yellow Ticonderoga and that blade. Oh, awesome. Make sure to close it. We don't want any accidents happening. All right. Whew. Another drawing down. I don't know how long it took, but there it is. Let's do a close-up. Ready for my close-up. There it is. Ta-da. All right. Thanks. Good night. Almost midnight here. See you next time. I will be a little late. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Ellen, for uploading pictures. All right. Thumbs up and little hearts. That's awesome. Love the community. All right. Barbie diversity. I'm cool with that. I like Target. All right. You're funny. No Target. Yep. I got a pack of 4B pencils, Amazon, because I wanted soft lead. Excuse me, graphite. We can use, all right, good. All right, cool. I'm just reading some of the awesome chat. We're not here alone. All right, let's jump to the next drawing. Here we go. Let's see what we're gonna do next. Oh, we got the E. We got a lot of cartoons. I think we're gonna hold off on the cartoons. Somebody asked for this one. This is done probably with computer. And we'll probably skip these cartoon ones. We've done enough cartoons. I think we can do the cows. We can do the cows pretty quickly. You see their sketches. These are sketches by Claude Monet.
Eladio,
Yes.
I don't mind you skipping the cartoons, but you cannot say we've done enough. There is never enough.
No, there's never enough. But there's not enough time. That's the thing. There's never enough. It's not enough time. That's where we're running into. Notice the values on this one. This is incredibly beautiful, right? So you can see the lights and the darks and the soft shades. This really drawing by Claude Monet in 1857, before TV, before the iPad, before internet. You know, they're really observing and seeing and drawing and seeing the lights and the darks and the shadows and the texture. It's amazing. Claude Monet. I've never seen the sketch by him. Actually, I've never seen any sketches by Monet or Monet. You mostly see their paintings, but this is the work that goes into it. You don't see the work that you just see the finished products. You see this stuff, like you don't know how they got here, right? This is really nice, and that's really nice. There's a lot of stuff happening in here, lights and darks and different shades and values. These are paintings. That's painting. Kind of hard to do. All right, so there, the truck definitely is a must, and then we have these drawings, and then we can stop there. The last drawing is Claude Monet. Oh, let me refresh, and I think we had some drawings I wanted to share. Oops, it should be in there. There it is. It should be here now. There he is. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. That's really two values. There's the light value and then the dark value. Really, this really goes into two values. The light in there, Claude Monet, and then this shadow in here. And this is actually not that hard of a drawing to do. There's a lot of simple, oh, wow, the shapes in here. Copy image address. I think I go this way. Oh, be the poo. Sorry. Oh, and you're here too. Priyanka's here. Because I don't know if you're here. This is one that you said, that one, and I found the original. You can see the difference too. Look at that. Yeah, actually they nailed the ear. Yeah, the ear, the shape is good, but in here they were struggling with some of the overlapping. Not a big deal. I'm being super hypercritical. You don't have to be. I mean, that's the thing. Don't have to be when you're learning. And the eyes are a little closer together than they have it closer than they are. Look and notice how closer the eyes are. But then they're doing it smaller. But this is really good. This is really good. It's not a, I mean, I'm being super critical. But the reason why is because it's better to copy from the original than a copy of a copy, because you see the eyes are just slightly closer. You might get the eyes even closer, and then then it's looking even further away from the original. That's the point I really want to make. And this is not a bad drawing. It's good. It's good. It's all good. It's all good, right? It's all good. Here we go. There's that one. Now I can zoom in. There it is. I can zoom in on Monet. Not that clear, but you can see really nice little bouncing light under that eye. The shape of this, really neat. We don't have time for that. Nobody got time for that. All right. All right. Oh, there it is. There's Michelangelo's. I can't zoom in. Oh, man, I miss the old days. Copy image address where I didn't have to do this. Paste. All right. There we go. Yeah, now I can zoom in. Oh, actually, this was not as clear as the one I had before. There's the fish. And the other one I saw was more clear. This one's not as clear. But it was the same picture. There's another version out there that it's not as pixelated. I don't know, Michelangelo's grocery list. Thank you, Ellen. Awesome job. There we go. All right, so back to the beginning. There we go. The E, I like the E, but we're going to jump to this. This is actually pretty tough. This is really tough because the angles are really slight. I'm going to go really big. Let's copy the image address. Let's do that. Copy image address and then go over here. It's in Meetup. Let's paste it there. Oh, now it's too big. There it is. It's a good size. What makes this really difficult is the slight changes in angle, right? So let me show you all those slight changes in angle. That's what makes this really tough. Okay, so let's follow follow the tires. You can see the tires going slightly up and slightly down. if things are going back in space, there's really slight perspective. Notice that these angles, they're coming down. And on this side, they're going up. Notice that. Notice this angle here. And if it were to continue, all these lines go to a vanishing point. All these lines go to a vanishing point. There's a vanishing point on the left, vanishing point on the right, but it's so far. It's so far. And these curves really make it hard as well. There's curves on here, but this is also going down. Let me see if we get it. It's kind of centered. Yeah, right there down. This one, it's kind of hard to tell, but it should kind of, because of the curves are kind of making it a little bit hard. But that one definitely goes down. This angle here, notice that angle if we were to continue. That one, there's a slight angle to that. I would say it's kind of like that. These angles here, see that angle's coming down now? And it's actually going to that vanishing point that's way, actually, ooh, it's a little bit lower. This one's going lower. If I were to continue it, I'm just going to do there so you can see that. And then this here, this angle is going up. They're kind of saying there's a vanishing point right in here because see the top and the bottom kind of go to that point. This angle here, it's not perfectly vertical. It does go forward slightly. All right. Okay, this one's a tough drawing. It's not that easy. We had somebody wanted us to draw more cars, and here it is. Here this one is. All right, let's get these ovals in here, and then we'll get it going. I think we can draw some ovals in here as guides. There's an oval in here. Let's see that oval. Another oval over here. But those slight angles really make a difference. And now, ooh, there we go. So I gotta get my AC turned on. Pulling this a little lower. Yeah, that's it. That's a good spot. Move this one over. Thin it out a little thinner. That's good. Bam. All right. Oh, let's get some more in there. All right. All right. All right. We're down to 15. It's great. Awesome. Hardcore heroes hanging in there. Look at the struggles. There's that one in there. I think that's right about there. Yeah, this one's tough. This one's really tough. It's all right if you leave us. It's okay. We'll see you. Oh, something changed. Oh, we got 3 things in the chat. Thanks again for the class. I'll see you next time. Have a nice weekend. You too. All right. If the truck will take too long, we could do another sketch. No, we can. We'll do this. We'll do it. I'll try to do it pretty quick. Thank you, Eladio, for another fantastic class. You make drawing so much fun and inspiring. Looking forward to next week. Wishing you and everyone a beautiful weekend. Thank you so much. And all right, cool. That's it. No, we can do this pretty quick. I'm gonna do it pretty quick. It's just kind of a little bit of a challenge. All right, let's find the big shapes. The big shapes. Big shapes. Here we go. Tough one. And I'm doing rectangles, squares, circles, ovals. Awesome. Yeah, you can jump. You can jump ahead. You don't have to wait for me.
No, that's all I can do. That's what I mean. I'm doing shapes.
That's all good. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to break this down into shapes. I'm trying to see the biggest shapes. Okay, the big shape I can see is this in here. I'm getting a square right in here, right in there. Look at that square. Oh, look at that square. I should make it a different color. Let's make it a different color so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's go with purple. Right in here. So this square was going to help us just get everything going. That square. Now I'm going to do that same square again. And bring it back over. There's that square again. Bring it back over here. And to this other side. And you can see this other half is a lot smaller. We can find the center. We can make this into a grid drawing. But that's that other square right there. That will kind of help us get it started. And all these angles really Hopefully it's not too confusing. Speaking of angles, I'm going to put a couple more, and I think that'll be it. That's just basically these right here, these angles here. See the lights kind of go back. This one's bigger, this one's smaller. All this was done probably with a computer, so you know, we'll give it our best shot. We'll give it our best shot. I'm gonna divide those squares down a little bit more by selecting it. Here we go, and then just divide it into fourths because it's really I can see it's really complex. Here we go. So there's going to be one right in here, right there, and then the other one is, I had it right there. It's that one. Oh yeah, right here. That tire is. Okay. All right. There, now it's broken down into fourths. That'll help us get it going. So I'm kind of almost doing a bit of a grid there. All right, let's do this. All right, good night, Cynthia. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. I know this is long, it's long. Thank you for a great class, really enjoyed it. You're welcome. Sharon, thank you for joining us. All right, let's do this one. We're gonna take on this one. We're gonna take on this one. Let me screenshot it. Ooh, I almost deleted it. I would have lost all this work I just did. All right, there we go. All this breakdown. It's our breakdown of this complex drawing, and I'll try to do it pretty quick. We'll do a pretty quick drawing of this. All right, it's in the oh, I need to send it to everybody. I need to do it again. I just sent it to one person, one special person. All right, here we go. And send it to everybody. All right. There it goes. All right, here we go. Let's get this going. I'm going to try to do it pretty quick. All right, should be out there. And I need to move my paper sideways. We need to go sideways. We're going horizontal now. Going horizontal. And all right. What's cool is that we're kind of breaking it down, and it's kind of like grid drawing. This is grid drawing. You can put squares on anything, and you don't have to kind of like right. Again, the magic of the squares is that it has the same height, same width. So you get one square going, and I don't even have to look at my paper. I already know the drawing. I know I'm going to fit two squares in here. I need to fit two squares, and the squares should be about the same size. Do I need to zoom out? Yes. All right. Here we go. Let's get these two squares in there. And it's just a sketch. Again, we're sketching something that's done digitally by a professional with angles and everything. It's really advanced. That's why I kind of saved this drawing, save these drawings for later, because there's a lot going on. Again, you know, you got to find where you're at. If it's too hard, you know, hang in there. Don't get discouraged, because this is hard. All right, here's my two squares. Let's go back over. There we go. All right, here we go. So I'm going to break this square into fourths. Here we go. This square into fourths. And just kind of sketch everything in where it kind of goes. All right, so we got that square into fourths. Now, here we go. Our first oval is right in here. First oval, that's that tire. This tire is actually the closest tire to us. It is the biggest tire, this tire here, right? And it's kind of like in that space. Yeah, right about there, I would say. That big, right in that space. That's that tire that's there. Then you have the other tire that's over here. It's a little higher. This one probably a little bit lower. And I'm seeing how it all fits. I'm seeing how it all fits. If you're getting it exactly, great. If you're not, that's okay. If you're just using the shapes, you know, yeah, just do it. Do it for fun. This oval kind of goes way up there and actually sticks out of our square right in there. And it's a sketch. Not a big deal. There is that angle here. One's a little bit higher, one's a little bit lower. And here's the front of the car, that whole bumper. I'm getting the bottom of that bumper. See that bottom of that bumper, that angle. That's the bottom of that bumper right in there. Halfway in here. And I'm not worried about the detail. I'm seeing these big shapes, this whole grill in here. This is the grill. Notice that's the grill. We can throw in the, there's one of the lights right about in here. Another light right about in there. All right. There's the other lights. There's my lights. Again, you're seeing the big shapes. If you learn anything right now, you were looking at the big shapes, not really worrying about the detail. Seeing how all these big shapes all fit in here. See, there's that part. Then that's the what's this? Where the engine goes. Whatever that's called, the hood. The hood. And then here's the windshield. And then all this is just rounded up in here. See, this is the windshield. And I'm sketching it in pretty quickly. The squares really help. The squares really help. See, I mean, it's coming along. There's one window here. This windshield here, this shape. And trying to get the angles, it does come down slightly. And they're really slight angles. And the reason they're slight is because the vanishing point's really far away. Really far away. But everything on this side. And knowing perspective really helps. If you don't know, there'll be videos, but all this is angles, wrap to draw, ratios, angles, proportions, practice. All right, we've got this kind of coming up and over that. I'm going to go off this tire, right off this tire, kind of swoops off the top of this tire, kind of comes down. And this is that mud flap or whatever that is. And they're going in there. Then right in here. But look at it, it's coming along. It's coming along. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. Again, see, don't let the detail confuse you. It's a lot of detail. And there's certain specific angles that really make this drawing. All right, so here's the middle. And then back here, the this is a little bit above the middle. The what you would call it, this box, the box, exactly where. I didn't break this into fourths, so I'm just going to assume it's kind of like right in here. This is the box that's facing us the most, this part of the box, and then part of that box kind of goes back into space. And this is the one we can actually use the guides, because the vanishing point, it was right about here, the one I kind of saw, that green spot. So if we kind of use that as guides, say, okay, that's more or less. So these angles here go to that vanishing point there on this box, on that side of that box. See? So this goes down, this goes up. And then on this side, they're pretty close to straight, but this one, I would say it's going up, and this one's kind of going down. Oh, and actually, you know what? This one's straight. The bottom one's straight, and the top one's kind of coming down a little bit. The vanishing point's way off on the left side. That's for those of you who know perspective or kind of getting it. But it's all about angles, angles, angles. All right, I'm getting that other wheel back here. There's that other wheel that's going to be right about in there. Then there's a flap. And you can skip some of the detail. You can see once you have this, I mean, look at that. That can almost even looking finished. There's even a hill back here. I can even get that hill that's back here. The house is back here behind the hill. Right, the house is just a triangle. That's all it is, right in here. See how it fits? It's a puzzle. Putting this puzzle together. There you go. And if it's exactly, you know, it's okay. I mean, when you're first doing puzzles, you know, get the easier puzzles first, and you got to know what level you're at. I'm just throwing squares in there. These angles do go down though. Let's see, that's slightly down. Watch your angles. This angle there. Angle there. What time is it? It's 9 o'clock. This is our last drawing. I don't know. We're going overtime. I'm gonna speed it up. All right, so there you can see how I did that really quickly. Bam. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go left to right. I'm just gonna go ahead and just dig into this thing. I'm just gonna dig in. Everything's kind of drawn out. I'm just gonna dig into this, go left to right. Here we go, do-si-do. All right, we're just gonna do this for the heck of it. All right, all the detail. There's a fence back here. I'm not even gonna worry about it. I can actually just shade it out, choose what to do. Really just gonna focus on this truck. We've got this box. I'm gonna go inside the box. There's like, I guess the holding the box together right in the middle is this rectangle. There's two parts to the rectangle. There's that rectangle there, and then there's this other part. I guess this other side where you would see slightly a line. There's that right in the middle. I think I went a little bit bigger than it is. That's okay. Then another one on this side. Same thing, rectangle. And then another little line on this side. As this side's facing us, that's it. And I'm not even worried about the accuracy. It's pretty accurate. It's not exactly, but you know, I've got everything, and just kind of like adding the details now. All the detail just going in there, getting that box in there. The thickness of this line that's in here, it's pretty thick in between these boards. My angles are pretty accurate. I'm happy with the angles. And that's the big part, getting those angles right. All right, we got the tire here, right about in there, and then inside that tire is another oval. Now what's happening here with this oval, inside that oval, is some of it's getting lost. You're getting this crescent shape, this crescent moon. So like this, I have that oval in here, I have that oval, and then there's another one inside, but this time it's definitely a crescent. So you're bringing it in right in there. See that right in there, that crescent. There's like a little bit of a crescent moon. If you can see that crescent moon, that's that. And I went too big with it. That's okay. It's no big deal. It's just a sketch. I'm gonna simplify it. And there's that center axis or the axle point, and then there's like little detail of these little circles, which I'm not gonna have space for because I did that too big. That's okay. It's all good. That's it. So that's the center part of that tire. I went too big with the crescent moon, but that's okay. I know that, you know that. Anybody else that looks at this drawing, nobody will know. Now this is a cylinder. This is this part of the cylinder. The tire is the cylinder part. You had that oval. Now I'm adding the tread part. This is the tread part. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is the rubber part. All right. And this is a cylinder. All this is that cylinder shape. And then they just put lines on it. They didn't even bother. I'm going to shade the bottom part. Yeah, because it is getting darker down this way. And you do want it to pop as a cylinder. So I notice how I shaded it. They kind of did the same, but I'm not exactly following their drawing. And then, let's go with my darker Ticonderoga. Where's my Tig? Ticonderoga. I see an HB. What is this? Oh, it's not sharpened. Ticonderoga. 3H. Here it is. Ticonderoga is darker. So I want it to be dark in here, right where this tire is going to pop. I'm going to pop the tire. There's a little bit of a light edge right there, that light shape. And then everything else after that to the tire is dark. So all this is dark. I'm going to go ahead and shade it right now. Right in there, shade it as I'm going. Sometimes I would wait for this till the end, but I'm just going as I go. And I'm going from left to right. Here's my tire. There's that shape. Here's the bottom in here as well. That line kind of almost straight across. It is slightly going down. And all this is dark. All this is dark. All this is a dark shape in here. I'm not even gonna worry about it. There's even a tire back in there. All this is that dark shape in there. And then there's a triangle in here. And there's other stuff going on. I'm not gonna get it. I'm just gonna go that. I can actually put a slight shade in here. I can probably, I am going to put a slight shade just to shade it, to make that box pop a little bit. Because they have, there's some shading, some values, but it's mostly line work. It's mostly line work that they have going. And actually this goes up a little bit higher. I need to bring this up a little higher. Now that I'm looking at it, this mud flap is a little higher from where this tire is. Maybe bring the tire a little bit lower. No, it doesn't matter. This mud flap should go higher. So I got that mud flap, looks good. All right, so there's another part of this box that goes back here. Just a rectangle with more lines in here, but I'm not gonna worry about this. The shape is what's more important. Then in here, I don't know, just shading it. I can actually shade a little bit too. To push this back, I'm gonna shade this back. I can shade this maybe a little bit darker, just slightly darker than even that right there. That's all good. All right, here we go. All right, it's coming along, coming along. You do see the tire back here. There's another tire that's back here. It's lost. I'm gonna kind of throw it in here. It is kind of like hugging around our mud flap, and it does kind of have that shape there, and then all kinds of grass. I'm gonna just scribble it in, kind of get it lost. I kind of know the shape, but then I get it lost in there. All right, cool. We're going over time. We're going over time. It's almost 9:15 here. 9:15. It was past midnight with Pearl. She was hanging in there. She was hanging in there. And let's see. Let's finish this up. We're going over time. Let's get that window. Window's pretty straight at the bottom. And these curves kind of are a little tough. But this line should kind of be they're almost straight. It should kind of be going back in the space because it's on this plane. It's on this plane, but it's this window that's right in there. That's the window shape. And then around it is the, yeah, I've drawn a lot. I've painted a lot of these trucks. I have these kind of trucks in some of my paintings. But there's the window, there's a thickness to it, and then there's like little reflection lines on it. I added more than there were. I'm just getting the feel of it. That top part, you might even call it quits after this drawing. I don't know, you know what? We'll do the, wow, we didn't even get to any of the, yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on the shading and the shadows. But the ocean pictures, there's never, what was this? Never enough. What we don't have is time. That's the thing. Time is the precious. Once it's gone forever. And I appreciate you joining us with your precious time, because that's what it takes. You know, it takes some of that time. It takes some time. Learning takes time. Certain things take time. I'm not describing too much of the detail, how I'm getting it, how I'm getting all these parts to fit. This is a little more advanced. If you're just getting shapes in there. Okay, we can share out too after if you want to share your drawings. I'm getting that door in there. I'm skipping some of the detail. I'm just getting the important stuff. Yeah, skipping a lot of the detail. Some of these lines in here make it look like it's glass. Getting it darker in here. There it is. Skipping some of the detail that's inside it. And let's see. Here we go. Yeah, sometimes as an artist, you got to choose. See the structure, and then don't have to draw all the detail all the time. What's important is the structure, getting that structure, or even just getting the feel of the structure. All right, here we go. Let's get these lights. Oval shape, get that oval shape. That's the front part, and then the side part. See, so here's the front part of that light, and then I'm getting the side part of that light. See, this is that thickness of that light. Then there's a little dot in the middle. Bam, there it is. Look at that. And then over here on this other side, same thing. We got the oval, dot in the middle, and then this side right there. And then the grill has a lot of detail. There's a lot of detail in the grill. We've got these 3 little lines in here. See if I can try to fit them in. But this grill, there's a lot of detail in there. Let's move this over. Fantastic class. So glad to be back. Thank you, Eladio. You're welcome. Thank you, Allison. Thanks for being back. Here we go. The next drawing, I'll try to do it faster. It is a sketch. It is a sketch. I'll do it really quick, and it'll be the last drawing of the night. It'll be the drawing, the trees. We'll do the tree drawing. All right, so don't forget the bumper. I can bring the bumper down a little bit. I do have the angle for that bumper, so that's really good. I do have that angle. All right, good night, Constanza. Constanza, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your also your for being part of the Facebook group. Thank you. Awesome. Hope you guys been getting good on that. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, it's on our Meetup. Go to Meetup and there's a link. Or you can go, also there's another link on our sketchbookhero.com. If you go to sketchbookhero.com, there's a link to our Facebook group as well. So sketchbookhero.com. Apologies for trying to stomp on his First Amendment rights, saying he can't say we've done enough cartoons. I know. Oh my gosh, that one time one person complained, too many cartoons, you're doing cartoons. But it's a good step to drawing realistic stuff. It is a good step. Some people want to just jump to the realistic stuff. It's all good. My focus is to trying to get beginners going. And once I have my beginners, kind of like everything kind of set up for people who are serious and are beginners, and say, hey, I can't draw, but I want to, and once I have that set up and I'm happy with it, then I can start moving on. But I'm not. I've had some setbacks. My mom and all that stuff kind of set me back. My iPad being taken, but we got my iPad back. We're getting things settled. So
Is your mom all fixed, all recovered now?
she's better, but she's slowing down. The arthritis has got her really slowing down. But and I took her to the doctors the other day. She still has appointments, but getting help with people taking her as well. She had another appointment today. That was actually yesterday. She had another appointment, and she had an appointment. Actually, I was there today helping her out with stuff. But yeah, she's doing okay. She gets around, but she's just a lot slower. It's kind of hard.
So what happened again? Did she fall?
She had a fall, yes. Yeah, she had a fall. I don't know. Do you remember? Did I talk about it back in January or December?
Yes, you did. And
Yeah, she did have a
yes.
fall.
Yeah, and we also thought she also got sick, maybe not a cold, but not COVID too.
Yeah, she did have COVID. Yeah, that's right
Yeah.
too. Yeah, she got COVID. That's right. Yeah, you guys remember. Yep, yep, yep. She did get COVID. Right. So the grill, I'm simplifying it. There's the parts. I divided this. This is the main part, like right here, that line. And notice how it's wider here and not as wide on this side. And then there's just the grill lines that are like in there. But this line is what's important, how I'm dividing it. Notice how it's wider in here and then thinner on that side. And I'm just going down. Yeah, she's doing good. She's in good spirits, which is good. See you in the morning. Right. Have my appointment. All right, here we go. Now, I've noticed that I had to pull out my bumper, pull out the bumper a little bit. And I'm making all these little adjustments. See, that little bumper had to come out a little bit more. And nobody notices it. I mean, yeah, it's all these adjustments, pushing, pulling, but it's coming along. It's coming along. That looks pretty good. Let me zoom out so you can see what I'm looking like. It's coming along. There it is. Ooh. Those squares really help. Those squares really help. And I don't know, it helped me anyways. All right, let's get these tires in. I think we're done with this drawing and jump into and finish this up. Let's finish this up. Here we go. There we go. We went overtime today. This tire over, I'm adjusting and seeing how it all fits. There's a thickness in here too. There's a thickness, and this whole tire, oh, is dark in there. There's that whole dark tire. It all kind of blended in. That's that oval shape. You see, I'm even skipping a lot of stuff. That's because I understand the form, and I'm putting that form in there. And some grass. There's grass. That's more of a drawing. I'm making more of a sketch. All right, let's get that rim in there. We're done. We're done with this drawing. And let me make this thicker, wider. It is wider in there. I did make a little mistake. I'll erase that. Yes, it is wider in there. I did erase. I hardly erase. I had to that time. I really felt like I had to erase that part. That whole part was kind of tough. All right, here we go. Let's get that rim in here. Rim in there. We got that oval. We got this oval. And it's a cylinder on its side. This is just a cylinder, right? So if you look, understand how a cylinder works. You have the top and the bottom, and then this echoes this oval that's in here. That's basically what's happening. It's a cylinder, a can. It could be, one of the basic forms, one of the 5 basic forms. You need to practice, practice looking for it, drawing it. There's an oval in the middle. And here we go. You see, I can adjust this. I have this oval here, but it's that crescent. But this time I'm going to draw it bigger because I think I drew it too small. So I'm going to go bigger than now this time. See, I can make this adjustment. Oh, not too big. And making that adjustment. There's that crescent. Oh, there it is. See, there's that crescent going outside. It's all good. And then now I can put the little details of those little as they radiate around that center. I don't even know how many. I'm just filling it in. Then the rubber, where the rubber meets the road, this bottom part. And then the grass, it's all on. I'm just gonna scribble it in, scribble in grass. That's it. That's it. I can probably put a little bit of shade just really quick to shade this back. This will make it pop a little bit. shade. Put some little bit of shade right in here because that'll make that bumper pop a little bit. Just a slight shade on this side. I want that little part to pop a little bit. You can push and pull, put a little bit of a shadow under there too, under that tire. There we go. That's it. Oh, apologies. All right. How does that look? Not too shabby. That's not too shabby. Let's get some more light on it. I've got the light. There we go. I've got some lights. I bought these lights thanks to you guys. I also bought my laptop thanks to your donations. Those of you donating. And it's all going to making the class better. This computer though cost me quite a bit. It's like top of the line iPad Pro is what it's called, the iPad Pro, and it's the same as the iPad, the regular iPad. It just has a lot more memory, a lot more power, and I'll play with it. Actually, ooh, oh no, I won't do that. Not today. I was going to do it, but I think we'll just do the trees, and we need to move on. So I'll do the trees real quick. We'll call it a night. It's already 9:26. It's gonna be 9:30. This will probably take this. This will be really quick because I know somebody's going to France. Lucky you. Lucky. I'm jealous. I want to go to Europe. I want to go start off in Spain, then go to France, then go to Italy, Greece. That would be nice. We'll see. One of these days. I've been talking about it. You guys know I've been talking about it. Alan, what's that? The walk, right? The walk in Spain. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Good night. Is that? Oh, it's direct. Thank you. All right. All right, here we go. We're gonna take a quick little break and then get into drawing that tree. I need to stretch real quick, but we'll draw that tree. So I'm gonna pause real quick. All right, here we go. Last drawing of the night. Let's bring up the energy. Let's finish strong. Basically, it's just trees. The main tree is this one right in the center. This one right here. Here we go. Right in the middle. Notice how it curves out right here. It curves out at the bottom. But we really just need this one, and it curves at the top as well. And you can see it here. It bumps out right in here. It's kind of following this line, and then it bumps out. But we can go here, and then it curves out again. I'm going to follow that line right in there. There is taper. Notice how it tapers as it goes up. It gets smaller as it goes up. Let's see what this one is. And we got one right here, right in there, and it does taper a little bit. It does taper. It does get wider as it comes down here. There it is. What else? There's a lot of stuff, and it's mostly just shading. It really is a value study. He's really studying the values and the shapes and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit different than what we do, I think. Almost like the shading monster we did today. But let's just go with that. Actually, hold on. Let me break this into. How can we break this down? I'm trying to think. It's okay if it's actually off. It's okay if it's off. We have those two trees and all kinds of other stuff that's happening. I kind of see this getting. We have a line. We have this kind of line here. This shape that's in here. That shape and that shape. I'm trying to break it down into some of these shapes or areas. There's that shape. There's this big old shape in here. There's a lot of back and forth in here, but I kind of see these areas. You can see that. And this kind of goes out and then kind of comes in a little bit. And then there's all this whole area of shadedness. And then there's all these trees. All right, so I can actually probably sketch that. And this is probably going that way. All right, that's good. All right, let's do this. This is going to be pretty quick. It's going to be more, it's definitely be sketch, but it's going to be a value study. We're going to really look at the values and do that. Let's put it in the chat. There it is. There's the chat. Everybody. Here we go. Bam. All right, last drawing of the night. Here we go. Woo, we haven't done this in a while. 9:30. We're almost gonna go till 10. I think we might even make it till 10 tonight. I think I'm gonna try to get this done in 10 minutes. We'll see. We'll see if it's true. All right, here we go. 10-minute drawing. Do the best you can. Again, always do your best. I like seeing, oh my gosh, we got some hardcore heroes here tonight. I can see the hardcore heroes. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Wow, that's pretty wild. Okay, here we go. Here's the original in the chat as well. Bam. So I'm gonna block it out. Let's block it out. Let's block this thing out. Here we go. Let's do this. We'll do it vertically. Vertically. Let's stop sharing. Oh, I don't think I shared. Did I share my screen? Oh no, I stopped sharing. That's it. Oh, we got a little bit of. I'm gonna have to skip that one. Oh. Wow. All right, value study. Use my Ticonderoga. Let's block it in. We got our main tree, that main tree. Sketching that shape, and it goes wider as it gets lower. I mean, it's just a slight angle change. There's our main tree there, right in the middle. Then watching the spacing, our other tree on the left, which throws this off balance, even though it's symmetrical. This tree here adds interest and adds asymmetry to this symmetrical composition. Notice how it's actually probably a little bit wider as well than this tree, but it should taper as well. It should taper, get a little bit wider as it goes lower. Okay, that's that tree. And then we got this big old shape in here. It comes across right in there. We've got this other kind of like a wing shape right in there, that angle. And then this kind of comes out. This kind of comes out. This is up a little bit higher. It's up a little bit higher up in there. This tree's lower. This tree's further back. It's up a little higher. This should be a little bit lower. And it does kind of come out. We got that double wing that's up here, double wing. And then we got this, looks like a diamond shape. This diamond shape. Okay, here we go. Shine bright like a diamond. Watch your angles. This one's almost horizontal. It does come down to the right. And then it comes up right in there, right in there. There. That's our blocking in. All right, we blocked it in. Maybe I blocked it in a little dark, which is fine. Zoom out on this one. All right, cool. All right, here we go. So there is shading and this blocking in. Wow. Okay. Oh, well, I think I missed. All right, let's go all the way to the top. So I kind of got the shape of it. Now I'm gonna use the shading. He does outline it, and this tree is shaded on one side. And sometimes you need to work your pencil down. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna work my pencil down here. See, now I've got, and I've got it quite at a sharp angle. I have it quite down at a sharp angle. I'm not up and down. I have it down. So I've got this, kind of like if you really do a close up of the lead, there's a part where it's flat. Right in there. See, and then once it's flat, unless you get any burrs, then you can actually get nice, smooth shading. As opposed to with a mechanical pencil, or if you're trying to shade like this, then you're gonna get this scratchy stuff because you have a point. But if you go down, bring your pencil down, kind of smoothen it out, then you'll get this smoother shading. And notice there's a thickness to it. It's not really sharp. That'll get you smoother shading. I'm gonna kind of just really quickly, lightly shade on one side of this tree and all the way down. it kind of does have that all the way down on this one side. Oops. Getting a little bit of lines in it. And then same thing on this side. Actually, yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna, yeah, let's just go ahead and shade this whole thing too. Because there is a reflected light, but I'm just gonna put it all on one side, like right in there like that. There we go, that's it. And it's really light. It's probably shading it really light. Shading it really light. Now in between these two trees, I'm gonna shade it light as well. I don't think there's any, oh yeah, there is highlights. We're gonna go in there with the eraser. We'll have to do that. Yeah, we'll go in there with the eraser. We'll use an eraser on this one. Just to bring some of the highlights. I'm kind of just blocking in. I'm blocking in all the shading. So you can see I have my two trees. I put shade on one side, shade in between the trees, and then that same shade. And it's really close to all being the same shade. It's all kind of the same shade. I'm gonna bring in my eraser on this one. Just as a value study. I'm gonna just block in all this shade stuff. Block it in really quickly, just to do it really quick. It'll be a faster way to do it. And I've got my kneaded eraser, stretch it out, clean it up. I can clean up this line and area, see, pretty quickly. Nice. All right, let's do this. All right, we're gonna go left to right. Yeah, left to right. Let's go left to right. All right, so I already have this shade here, and I'm gonna go darker. I'm gonna go darker back here. I'm pushing just slightly darker, and behind this tree to make this tree pop still. So I'm going slightly darker, right at the edge, especially right at the edge, and then I'm kind of softening it up as it comes out. So right there, I'm softening it as it comes out. Leaving the top of that, that's kind of light, but right against that edge is dark, not super dark. If you need to go back, if you did it too light, you can always darken it up later. But once it's dark, and that's just pencil control and practice. And you should probably do a grading, a value scale where you're having pencil control and can have control how dark your pencil is, like right in there. And then it actually goes darker. So right in here, there's dark spots. I'm gonna go darker. I'm just going left to right. I've seen an artist where he just starts from the top and he just shades, just goes all the way down and gets different values as he's coming down. I mean, you can do that, but I would lose everybody. I'm trying to break it down into parts. So here it goes darker. And I'm going left to right, actually. Yeah, I'm going left to right. And then here, and it kind of fades out. It kind of fades out. It does have a soft edge. I'm getting a little bit of scratchiness. That's okay. A little bit of scratchiness. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. It is getting a little scratchy, but it's darker in here. All right, here we go. Now the texture for this tree in here. This is in front. I did leave that white part right there, but these now I'm just really just getting this texture of these kind of needles of this tree, and it's really dark, and I can see that shape in here, and I'm almost drawing as I'm putting it in here. Here's the top of that. This is the top, and then this is the underbelly, the underside of that in here. And I'm shading these shapes because it's really big. I mean, all this is really dark in here. This whole that triangle, that wing is where I'm kind of just shading it in. All this dark area, seeing all this dark area, and seeing the light shapes too. Even though they're light, there's like shade to them. But it's all this texture, and I'm just almost painting with my pencil. as I feel like I'm painting with my pencil because I'm giving it texture. And it's going from light. I see the light. I'm going to erase this little part right in here, right in here, right in here. This is the top of this, right in there. Erasing that top part. Let's see, my kneaded eraser, giving it some form. I can bring some of these back up. Trying to making sure you getting the form, but it's not stiff. It's kind of like broken up. I can already imagine some people like you know, making it really stiff. The thing is to open it up. You know, it's not just like that. It does open up, right? There's some open parts. You're just kind of like suggesting these shapes. See all this texture, all this darkness. Now I know it's just getting darker. There's a core shadow in here. That's what's happening. There's a core shadow in this back tree. There's a core shadow. It goes just slightly darker, but the edge is light. So you have this core shadow that's running up in here. And you almost have to squint your eyes to see these values. You really do. Squint your eyes. Get this core shadow, this core value in there. All right, there we go. That's that tree right in there in the back. And there's this shape here, right? There's a slight curve to it, but it's pretty straight. Slight curve. There's this thickness to it. This branch, this little mini branch, and then it kind of attaches itself with a knob. So I did that curve, and then here this knob that kind of curves. Oops, curves up and around, and gets thicker right in there. Trying to get that shape. Trying to get that shape in there. It's really dark. Really dark as it attaches itself to the tree, and then just kind of it comes down. And there's some more of these little ungrown branches, or here's what they are. There's one right there. This one's a little bit lighter, but it's a little bit bigger. Then it gets darker as it attaches itself right there. Then all these little details, all these little spots. It's all this little detail stuff. Look at that. It's coming along. If I zoom in, you can see it. You kind of see that tree coming to life. And there's a little bit, you know, I did shade that side. You can see a little bit of shade in there. I'll probably even shade it a little bit more, or get that texture in there. It kind of has a texture. Putting it in a little bit more. But I think that's good enough. Maybe some more dots on this side, texture. I'm just tapping, tap, tap, tap. Almost like pointillism. And then this tree, I'm gonna bring it up higher. Higher, and it gets smaller as it gets higher. Ooh, and then there's another one on this side. Another branch sticking out at this angle. There's a thickness to it, so I'm thickening it up. And then it's attached somehow, really weirdly. All right, I think I'm happy with that. Now, there's no edge here. Actually, there's no line. There is an edge, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to get rid of that line and just really just shade this as an edge, right? There's no line. And this is the hardest, I don't know, such a hard concept to get through to students, is that when you're doing rendering and you're doing, you know, it's just one value against another. There's up here you can see line, but down here there's no line anymore. It's just one value against another value, and that's that whole edge. That's that whole edge. I'm going to bring that out. That's darker. I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to lighten it up as it comes over, but then it gets darker again on this side. Again. There we go. Yeah, I'm looking. This whole center between these two trees. I'm shading between the two trees, shading between the trees. Trying to keep this as an edge. Edge as well, the top of that branch, the top of that. And since I already kind of did a smooth, it's shading is a smoother because I already kind of put I already put one layer on there. Now I'm just building my layers, and my layers get smoother because I'm building my layers. Let's see, it's a smoother shade of pale. There it goes. That's good. Now I can go darker on top of that. Let's see. Yeah, let's go darker. There's this shape up here. It's not exactly in the right spot, but it's okay. It's this kind of like, and I'm just scribbling it in, just the texture. Because it's all this detail. It looks, we're just getting the feel of it. Really, I mean, to go in there and draw every single needle, every single pine needle, it'll be you know, we'll be here forever. But you just want to get the feel of it. So I'm just putting that in there. There's this big branch in here, this big stuff. This big branch that kind of comes in here. This is the darkest part. And it's actually part of that tree. This branch that's right in there. Right in there. Let me zoom out and then zoom in so you can see where I'm at. Look at that. From a distance, it looks different, right? And then as I zoom in, you can see it starting to come together. Zoom in a little more, zoom in a little bit more. And that's all just values. It's always just values. It does go a little bit darker in here. I can go darker, pushing that edge darker a little bit more. And scribbles too. There's a lot of texture. Scribbles, soft spots. I got this one branch. Something Davidian. No, not that branch. There we go.
That was funny. Probably a little obscure for some people, but that was funny.
Glad you caught it. All right, so yeah, the branch divides right here. I heard this band this weekend. Actually, yesterday. It wasn't even this weekend. It was yesterday. It was a really cool band. And they were throwing all kinds of, it was like a medley inside the song. And actually, they're going to be playing in oh, where is that? They're going to be playing again this on Sunday out here near Diamond Bar, south of Diamond Bar. But anyways, they were really good. They played in Diamond Bar yesterday, but they had a medley, and I recognized all the little songs that they played it inside that song. They played a little bit of Beatles. They played a little bit of other stuff. It was really cool to hear this. I'm like, hey, I recognize that. Hey, I recognize that. It's pretty cool. All right, I'm just throwing texture in here, this dark area. But not everybody caught it, is what my point is. My point. I like my little branch joke. There we go. Now this is another little branch that's sticking out from here, and it's attached. See, I'm making it attached by bringing this little part down right here, this little notch. See this little notch right there. Let me finish. Yeah, well, that comes out into this area in here. I'm really focusing at this in between area. Let me zoom out a little bit right there. This area in there. There's still some scribbling, and there's like probably another little branch that I don't know what it's attached to. And I'm just kind of almost squinting my eyes and kind of like filling in this, and this actually probably gets a little bit darker in here. I can push the darkness in here a little bit more, but I'm just scribbling it in. 53 is I don't think Yeah, I can draw faster, but I don't know. I'm trying to describe this, what I'm seeing as I'm doing it. Let's speed it up because that's all I'm doing here. This shape in here. Don't forget this mass right in here. I've seen people miss this mass, right? So you have light and notice that how much mass is this dark space right in here. This whole dark space that I just
I think we're gonna miss it all because you're too low or too high. You're too something.
I'm too high. This whole shape right here, this I'm too it's too late. That's it's too something.
It's almost 1 a.m. where I am.
Woo! Where you at?
In Tennessee.
Oh my gosh, Tennessee. Let's zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. See, so all this dark area, see how much there is of it. And then little branches down here. There's a little branch. This is probably the main little branch in here. This one I see. And then I see all these other ones. Branches. And it actually gets dark again. Right against that edge. And then gets light again. This whole value. Darkening it up. All right, we're going left to right. My friends and my family are in California. Oh, northern, southern.
My brother, my brother lives in California in Berkeley. He
Oh,
works in San Francisco.
yeah.
Hopefully, he won't get laid off.
Oh, hopefully. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's all this changes going on.
Yeah, and I have a lot of friends in San Francisco,
Oh,
San Diego.
oh, San Diego, that's way on the other side. I'm in the middle, LA, Los Angeles. All right, so it goes dark right here, and then it goes lighter as I'm going up in here. Yeah, California. I think, I don't know, we've really haven't been, I don't know, it's been warm, but I think other places have been hotter. It's been crazy weather. And it's here, it's the new normal.
We were scorching. We were
Oh.
72.
Oh gosh. Which is still, is it above average though?
Yeah, it's slightly, well, it's not ridiculously above average, but we do pretty mild weather, although it's not as mild as it used to be. We have, yes, we've been warmer. So what's going on in California that you were afraid someone would get laid off?
My brother is there. He used to be a chef. He's a consultant for restaurants, and you know what's happening in San Francisco. So less
Okay.
restaurants, less work.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm capturing this part of this branch right in here, right? So I'm trying to keep that light part open above it, and then having that texture in there. I got the shape of it. Now I'm just kind of putting the dark kind of texture over it, and that's overlapping that part of that tree. And then it goes back dark behind this. All this shading back in here is pretty dark. Again, but I'm going left to right. We have a core shadow in here where it goes darker again. And then I might even bring that shading all the way across first. I'm pushing that back and pushing all the values back. But there is a core shadow right in here. This core shadow where it's the darkest part. And then it gets light again, but it's like this core shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. And it's soft on the sides, it's softening it up. But I even darken this up a little bit. Bring some of that shading in here too, softening that up. Yeah, and I'm doing it really quick, so some of you might be missing some of that. But it's all good. Just do the best you can. And as you squint and do all that, you really start seeing the lights and the darks, pushing and pulling. This goes a little bit darker in here. A bit darker in there. There's some of these roots as the tree actually is coming down into roots. It curves out right in there. Yeah, let's see. And now we got some darker details. Oh, my little dots. Even like a scribble or something. Even a wrinkle. A little bit of a wrinkle right on top. All this detail stuff I'm doing last. First the shading and then all this detail on stuff on top. All this little scribbled detail. And then there's grass. It's really just scribbled. All this grass is down here. It's just scribbled grass. Oh, and he wrote something. He has the date. He dated his drawing. Again, date your drawings. Almost there. Halfway there. And it's already going to be 10. Actually, this time, huh? 10 o'clock here in California. California. We're doing it. We're really going out. How many people are still here? Oh, we got the hardcore people. Awesome. 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 It's so awesome. Leanna's in here twice. It's all good. See, I'm just looking at the values, the textures, the lights and the darks. First, the structure, I kind of, I pencil it all in. That's basically the process. That's the process. And I'm looking at these dark shapes. There's a whole branch right in here, but above it is this dark area, this dark shape. That's kind of like right in there. And then the branch that's below it with more dark shapes underneath it. There's a dark spot, and then there's a light spot, and then there's a dark spot. Right in here, this spot, but keeping the shape of that tree. It's like right against it, hugging it. Then the rest of it's all just scribbles. Scribbles, light, darks, and then branching out. Oh yeah, all this is big old, this other wing. Trying to get that texture. Going dark. Just get the feel of it. So I'm getting tired, it's getting late. We're really pushing it today. On our first day back after a while. It's been a while. Couple months. Wow. After a couple of years, how many years did we go? 2.5 years, just about, without a break. Well, without a major break anyways. We had little breaks. And we'll be probably having more little breaks, but and we'll probably just keep it to one night for a while. I'm trying to up our production value. So I come across some programs, but I need to learn how to use them. That's time consuming. And now I have new technology too. So that's going to be a little bit time consuming. And other things I'm working on. All right, I need to go darker here. I'm going to bring that. See, ooh, I pushed that harder. Notice how darker I went this right in there. Boom, really dark. I had already gotten that dark, and I just went darker in here too. Push these branches. These little branches are really dark in here, so they can stand out. Pushing it in here a little bit darker too. Really pushing the values. I'm building up the values. See, I'm saving those darks for last. See, here's another dark. Oh, right in there, really dark. Another little dark. It's coming along. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Look at that. It's kind of coming in there, all that little detail. And then the rest of it's just scribbles. Not as dark, but scribbles in back in here. Just getting the feel of those. There's like other trees and shrubs and critters and who knows what else in this dark spot. Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. And then just scribbling it. I mean, all this textures, all this is just scribbling. All this grass is just scribble. If you look at it, look at it scribbling. It's just scribbling this grass. It's almost like writing your name. I can actually even hide my name in there and just scribble it. His name might be even hid. Even the date, and actually, if you look on the left where it has this date, and I don't know what it says, but that looks like it's part of the grass as well. get some of this shading out here. I'm going darker. I'm going pretty dark with this. Trying to get that shape of this branches kind of sticking out here. I'm going pretty dark, like right away. I'm just scribbling it in, trying to keep it open as well, so it's not stiff. Trying to get that feel of that the needles that are there. And then the top part is light, and then it goes dark. There's a little bit of shade above it. I'm getting these patterns of light and dark. Ooh, there's a really nice tree in the distance up in here. So this tree in the distance, I'll try to get it in, and it's light as well. So here's the tree. And then off of that is some branches. So we got some branches going this way. Some branches going all over, but there's another branch coming this way. And another branch going that way. Another little branch that way. This one's thicker. And it's all a pretty light shade. It's a really light shade in here because it's in the distance. It's in the distance. And then it gets thicker as it's coming down in here. And yeah, it's really thick. Probably even lower. I don't know. I'm missing some of the branches. I'm trying to get it all in here. This is all this thickness. I'm trying to get it all one light, even. I'm going back so it doesn't look like it's parts. So it looks like it's all one big piece in the distance at a light shade. There we go. And then all this other stuff. Here we go. All this in here. Let me get this branch right in here. Yeah, because then all the scribbles are going around it. So I'm going to try to get the branches next. All these branches. There's a branch right in here. That branch. Thicken it up a little bit. There's that branch there. There's another branch here. There's another knot. Like a knot in the tree. It's pretty dark. I'm looking at the darks. There's another branch that kind of branches out into smaller branches. So we got this branch here, and it's attached as well on this side a little bit. There's a thickness to it. It's really pretty thick. And then it branches out into two more pieces, one up and then one down out this way. And they taper as well. So it's thicker at the base and it goes thinner as it comes out. A little bit. Not a lot. The middle one you can see it tapers, thickers it in and thin as it comes out. That's there. Then you got all this scribbleness around it, all this. Once you have that, then you can scribble around it. You can actually even shade it so it doesn't stand out so much. Shade the background. See, I just shaded the background right above it, right on top of that. And then scribbling in. I'm just scribbling in all the leaves and in there. It's all just kind of like scribbles. And there's one dark scribble area right in here. And then the rest of it's kind of like around it. I'm trying to blend it in. Yeah, just scribbling without going. And it's just really pressure control and control, knowing how dark you want it. And that just takes some time. I'm missing, I think, some space in there. Yeah. Oh, it's all good. I'm tired, I guess. 3 hours. We started at 6:30. I actually started earlier. 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 hours. 4 hours, 4 hours, 3.5 hours of recording though. Whew, a lot of other little branches we're missing. There's another little branch up here on top. It has an S curve on it, like an S. See, it's like an S. There's that S, and then I'm just gonna thicken it up and get how it's stuck onto the tree. See that rounded part, and then thicken it up as it kind of comes up. And there is a light. There's dark on the sides, and there's light in the middle. I got it better here on the bottom part of that S. Up here, it's kind of flattened it out a little bit. Not a big deal. they have a nice little light on top. Mr. Mama, the artist here, Monet, no, Monet, Manet. I don't know. It's all I know. It's costs a lot of money. And these paintings are and these drawings are expensive. All right, we're missing some of the detail up here in this tree. I'm sure you kind of get the idea. A little bit more of a coarse shadow, pushing and pulling on the drawings a little bit here. A little bit more coarse shadow. A little bit more shade on this side too of this tree. And more scribbling. I'm getting a little bit of a glare from my light on my screen. But there's all this kind of like, yeah. See, that's the thing. You don't want it to look like scribbles. You want it to look like I'm kind of getting it to look. I'm fighting that. I'm fighting it so it doesn't look like scribbles, and it looks more like pine needles. There's a fine line where it's not like scribbly. This grass is really scribbly. The grass is really scribbly. It's close to being really scribbly. But then up here, I'm tightening it and trying to give it some shape and some angles. I'm trying to give it some form. I'm trying to anyways. But it's looking a little too scribbly, but that's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Darken this area. Squint your eyes, see where you want to, darker, lighter, a lot of detail. Yeah, especially if you're drawing this from observing. All right, I think that's it. I think we're gonna call it a night. I think it's really close to being done. I can probably go in there and get a little more detail, but I don't know. All right, there it is. That's not too shabby. I think that's not too shabby. Let's take a look. Oh, 6 hardcore heroes. My friends and family are in California. All right, cool. Nothing else in the chat. Nothing new. I think, look at that. Look at that drawing. That's not too shabby. I think that's pretty good. If you look at it really close. It's just lights and darks. It didn't capture everything exactly, but it's not too bad for a really quick. I don't know how long it. He probably did it pretty quick. This is a quick sketch. We took us what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I think it's just 30 minutes. All right, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Probably not this long.
Thank you, Claudio. It's nice to have you back.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Keep taking up these challenges.